This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Oh, yeah. We are ready to rock and roll. Good morning from Toyota of Hollywood. Yes, 1841 North State Road 7. We're where we're at every Thursday, where we belong, right here at Toyota of Hollywood. Come on out and join us. We'll be out here. You can get a great deal, of course, on an automobile. All right, there we go. All right, what do I got going on here? I'm hearing I'm hearing myself somewhere. Okay, there we go. Got the iPad up, so I got to make sure that I got them off, so we don't get any of the feedback throughout it. Although it'd be hard for you guys to hear, but I'm the one that ends up hearing it a little bit more than others. So good morning to one and all. We'll be out here for a couple of hours. We got a couple of guests for you. Working on a third guest for us. But at noon, I'm looking forward to it. Eli Gold is going to join us. We're talking about, like, college football announcing royalty. You know what I'm saying, Bill? That's what Eli Gold is, all right? When you talk about, like, Gene Deckerhoff and guys like that, that's what Eli Gold is.
How long has he been there for the Tide?
He's been, I don't know. It's been a while. He has seen a lot of players come and go through.
So this would be like Keith Jackson.
Yes.
You're talking like
Eli
Hall of
Gold.
Fame.
Yeah.
All time.
And it's those pipes. When you hear the pipes, right, when we get them on, you're like, okay, all right,
right.
You know. And by the way, make sure you call his home number on there that I gave you. Don't call his cell. Call his home number first, because he wants the landline first, because it's better to connect, as always. Larry Holder's going to stop by. Larry works for The Athletic out in New Orleans covering the Saints, which, of course, we all know Jameis Winston has chosen the Saints. Great move by that young man. He is going to be a better player because of it. That was an incredibly mature move on his part.
You know what blew my mind? Did you see the number?
Yeah, $1.1 million.
Nothing.
Yeah, well, they don't have money.
Nothing.
They don't have money, so it's not like they can offer him $20 million. And he's going there for a year because he's going there for schooling.
Yes, right. He's going back to school.
Yeah, more than anything else.
Quarterback 101.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I admire Jameis a lot for doing this. I mean, a lot, man. Anybody that is willing to take a step back and analyze what they're doing, and if you're not having success and things aren't working well, you got to kind of readjust and see, okay, what am I doing wrong? Why am I making these mistakes over and over and over and over again? All right, let me go to hang out with Drew Brees for a year, see how he prepares for defenses. I get to practice against that defense every day now. And then I got Sean Payton teaching me the game. So there's stuff out there. And let me get into this conversation really quick here on Jameis, because to me, and if you listened to him yesterday in his interview, first of all, bring up those sound bites, Bill. Let's play a little bit of Jameis, because when you start to look at his situation, he easily could have taken the easy road. Believe it or not, the easy road is take the money, take whatever job is out there, and screw that. The harder thing is to take a step back, lose money this year, but gain in intelligence. And then you can then move on and maybe have a Hall of Fame career instead of a Hall of Shame career, which is what you were headed for. You were headed for Busville is what you were headed for, right? You've accomplished more than Mariota, but you still haven't done what you need to do at your talent. So here he is talking about joining Drew Brees and Sean Payton.
We have a Hall of Fame quarterback and a future Hall of Fame coach. That's very intriguing for a young quarterback like myself. And also, I've been playing against this defense for the past 5 years, and they continue to get better and be dominant. This is a Super Bowl contending team, and I'm just happy to be a part of that.
So you hear Jameis there talking about that, which, again, perfect attitude. So they asked him, what's it feel like to be the student now? Because you've been the man wherever you go. Now you're kind of going to have to learn from somebody. And he had a great response to it. Go ahead.
Every day, like I'm learning from someone else. Like this isn't going to be relatively new. The only thing that's going to be new is that I'm not the guy. But to myself, I'm still a guy, and I'm gonna approach every day like I'm the guy. And I think that's what that quarterback room breeds of. Like when you see what happened last year with the amount of play time that Taysom and Teddy got. I'm not saying that I'm going to expect that this year, but those guys were prepared, and that's where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be prepared for whatever. I love being a quarterback. You have to be a student of the game. So now I actually get a chance to dive into that more, and I actually have a Hall of Fame quarterback that I'm learning from, opposed to trying to learn by myself or use Google.
Now, couple things from that statement that I got to get into, okay? First of all, he talks about obviously learning from a Hall of Fame coach and Sean Payton, which this is priceless for him. I'm telling you, this is going to make him a better player. People are going to have more respect for Jameis Winston, and he will have a shot at actually having a Hall of Fame career now. He wasn't headed to the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, if you look at the way he was playing football, he wasn't playing at an intelligent level. I mean, you just can't give the ball away.
The fact that no teams went after him says it all there.
And the most desperate position in all of pro sports.
Yes.
Left-handed pitcher might be right after that, right? Left-handed pitcher?
Yeah.
That's about the only one, right? About the two hardest things to find, a quarterback and a left-handed pitcher.
And right after that is probably a switch hitter.
Yeah, exactly. So now listen to that statement, right? And at the end, as he says, as opposed to going to Google. When he said that, it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, dude, did Bruce Arians did he not take the time to coach? Did he not take? Why would you be going to Google? Right? Look, I get it. In our society, whatever it is, hey, how do I take this stain off of silk? Hey, let me go to Google. Hey, what is this medicine? Let me go to Google. You know what I mean? How do I
make hand sanitizer?
Let me go to Google. How do I get there from one point to another? Let me go to Google. I mean, Google answers everything, right? What's my horoscope today? Let me go to Google. I get it. We use Google as a crutch for everything. But if your franchise quarterback is going to Google to learn anything, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? When he said that at the end, I'm like, I wonder how many people picked up on that, because Google? Play that soundbite one more time, please. Can you go like halfway through that soundbite so we don't have to hear the whole thing? Like halfway only. And that way we can hear the back end of it. Okay?
I love being a quarterback. You have to be a student of the game. So now I actually get a chance to dive into that more, and I actually have a Hall of Fame quarterback that I'm learning from, opposed to trying to learn by myself or use Google.
By the way, you cut it so perfect. I couldn't have. There's no way you could have guessed how perfect that was, bro.
You do it 20-something, 30-something times a day.
That is awesome. That was perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
As opposed to Google. Why is your quarterback on Google, Tampa Bay? So Tampa Bay quarterbacks have to go to Google, or they show up at the wrong houses for meetings.
Was that a bit of a jab? I mean, straight up jab.
Doesn't it?
Right? Yeah.
I mean, doesn't it sound weird to you?
That sounds like something that.
Why would you bring up Google, bro?
A junior high school or a freshman in high school would go to Google to
or
learn
something that I'm doing for something stupid, but not an NFL quarterback.
No. You should be far beyond whatever's out there on Google.
It's right. It's like, wow. how do we find more banners like this? Well, let's go to Google. But I mean, how do we decipher a cover 2? I don't know about Google. You know, I just found that really odd. That's all. I don't know about you. Didn't it sound weird to you?
Of that whole clip, that's the thing that jumped out at me.
I was like, whoa.
He's going to Google.
Like, okay, now I know why you're throwing 30 interceptions. You're going to Google. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, Google doesn't produce Hall of Fame quarterbacks, okay? You got to play the game, and you got to learn from the right people, and you got to do your part and all of that. So good luck to Jameis, man.
I guess Google doesn't tell you when the linebacker switches and comes in on the blitz and the defensive end drops back in coverage, right?
Or it doesn't tell you like, Jameis, don't go for it all. Just dump the ball off to your running back. That's why you had that interception. Google's not going to tell you that. Now, but Drew Brees will. Drew Brees will go, no, Jameis, this is why you don't go there. You go here instead. Take the 4 yards. You don't need to go for 400 yards. Okay? Take the 4 yards. All right? And that's one thing I think they will teach Jameis, because that's what all the great ones do. All the great ones aren't going downfield 30 yards every single time.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, dude. They just take the 5 yard,
Higher
5 yard, 5
percentage,
yard,
yeah,
5
man.
yard, 5 yard, 5 yard, 55 yarder.
That's what Montana used to do.
All of them.
That passing game.
All of them.
That West Coast, it was all about using it as a running game.
Marino, you did it.
Dink and dunk you to
Dan
death.
Johnson sliding on the floor, catching the ball. Bruce Hardy's catching it. Tony Nathan, Troy Stratford. He's dumping it off to people all the time. And then when he had the guys deep, then he went to whoever was there. But it wasn't like he was throwing it deep every single time. He took the underneath stuff whenever you gave it to him. Brady does it too. Brady will kill you with those 4-yarders. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's probably he's taking it to another level.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's part of their offense. So it's kind of like that. But I'm happy for Jameis. I'm really proud of Jameis, actually, because it was a really mature move on his part. But, man, that soundbite was just Google. I was like, wow, that's just odd. I just
Or use Google.
Yeah. Wow, that's just weird, man. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, as you know, we always answer your questions there on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. We've got the chat board going on YouTube, of course. We've already got a bunch of people checking out the show, which we love you all. As always, the super chat is on. Everything is going on. And we'll have some fun here throughout the afternoon. Looking forward to talking to Eli Gold at the top of the hour, a guy that called all of Tua's games, a guy that's called a ton of Alabama games, has seen a ton of great Alabama players there. And so he's going to have a lot of great stories about Tua, and I'm looking forward to that, talking to Eli Gold. That is going to be gold, ladies and gentlemen. NorCal says, when Rosen was a rookie, was Arians his head coach? Maybe Rosen will improve leaving Google. I don't think Bruce was, actually. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It was Wilkes his first year, and then they fired him. What else do we have here? What if Google produced 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns? Well, if it does, as long as it doesn't produce the 30 interceptions, that's the problem, see? That's where the glitch in the computer is at. On Google and in Winston's mind. That's where he's got to fix the glitch. You know what I'm saying? Fix the glitch. Chad Marcioni says, happy Thursday, Big O. Fins for life. You damn right. Bro Marshmelly says, the great Big O. I don't know about that. Good morning, Big O, from Flipside Fishing. Feister83 is in the house. Nico Jones is saying, what's up? Alexa V, she is chiming in. Finn Sports Football. Good morning, Big O. Fins up. Mark Rodriguez says, listening to you at work makes the hours pass by quicker. Mark, you are a corporate time-stealing weasel, and we love you for it. Kelvin Smith says, Big O, what it do, baby? Hell of a time to be a Doll fan. You damn right, baby. It's going to be great. Guillermo saying, good morning. George Arthur saying, aloha. Samuel says, we will be back. He's using a little Arnie for you. Jean-Luc is in. Fin Fan. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Lewis Jones says, Big O, if you had to pick 2 players from our draft that don't work out, who would they be and why? You know I don't even want to pick the long snapper, right? That'll cost us games, bro. Wow, I really like the Malcolm Perry kid. I don't want to point at any. I mean, out of all the players, I have to pick 2 that aren't going to work out. I'm trying to pick something that isn't going to hurt the team as much as possible, okay? That's a tough question. That's a hell of a question. Why would you want to even ask that question? Why do we have to focus on picking 2 negatives for the hell of it just to pick 2 negatives? You know what I'm saying? But if I got to go somewhere, man.
I have an idea.
I don't want to. I want all my offensive linemen to work. I want Brandon Jones to be the free safety. I want the D linemen. I want Stowbridge. I want Curtis Weaver to be really good. I want Raekwon Davis. I don't.
Do I have an out for you, O? He didn't specify which draft. He just said drafted players. It could be Harris. Harris was a draft pick of ours.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like you're looking for
okay. No 2020?
No 20. He didn't specify
2020
draft.
Okay, so Isaiah Prince and whoever was the other 7th rounder from last year. I need the players from this year to hit, man. I can't wish bad on Dolphins. I can't do that. I mean, if I think they're bad players or they're not good enough, then I'll tell you and I'll say
they haven't had a chance to be bad for you to call them out.
Yeah, I don't want to do that to them right from the get-go. So I don't know, man. I don't want Jason Stowbridge to be a failure. I don't want Curtis Weaver to be. I want those guys to be like incredible finds. I know how badly Miami needs pass rush. So I want Ogba and all those other guys, Lawson. I want all those guys tearing ass, man. You want me to pick 2 guys to fail? I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the negativity stuff, man. If it's there that I got to call it, then I'll call it, but no, I'm not going to create it. What are your thoughts on Cordrea Tankersley? He's a good player when healthy, strong tackler. I think they could they could move him, I guess, instead of love is what you mean, to strong safety instead of Rowe. Rowe has already proven he can cover the tight ends. Cordrea Tankersley has not proven anything yet. He hasn't proven he can be a consistent player. He hasn't proven that he's a playmaker. He hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. Now you want me to talk negative? Let's be honest here. Cordrea Tankersley has been a complete waste as a 3rd-round pick. And it's up to him now to figure things out and get on the field and prove something. So, Nick, I think you're giving Cordrea way too much credit for nothing whatsoever because he's done absolutely nothing. Okay? If you ever watch that movie Point Break and the cop is turning to Keanu Reeves and to is it Nick Nolte or is it it's Nolte?
No, it's Gary Busey.
It's Busey?
Yes, before the motorcycle accident.
Okay, so it's Busey and no, it's Nolte.
No, man.
It is Busey?
No, in Point Break.
It is.
It is Busey. As an ex-surfer, I could tell you.
It is Busey. And so he turns to both of them and he says, "You know what you guys have accomplished? Squat!" And that is Cordrea Tankersley. He has accomplished squat. He says it's so good, too. It's like a great line. You guys want to know what you've accomplished? Squat. It's awesome. It is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Is it not about the time I was doing this job when you were popping pimples on your face and this and that, and you've learned one thing that I have, to respect your elders, and that's about the time he knocks them out.
There you go. There you go. Josh chimes in. What's up, I promoted you to someone that's looking to talking about Dolphins. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's why we've grown so much, because all of you are sharing the links. You're telling other Dolphins about us. You're telling them about real sports talk that they can actually get here every day and fun stuff, and we connect with people. And Alexa V, thank you, Alexa V. Thank you for your loyalty, tuning in every single day, and now giving us a little love on the Super Chat. Appreciate that, Alexa V. That is very nice of you. So let's see, what else do we have here? every draft selection this year is a team player, and I really think the culture is in place now. The team will succeed, 9 wins or better this year, and growing fast. NorCal, I would tell you you're smoking really early out there out west. Normally, I would say that, but after watching the 5 wins last year, how can I argue with you, NorCal? I can only say you're probably right. That's all.
Like I've been saying, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for your number, and I'm adding 5.
All right.
Maybe 4. But,
After Flores released a bunch of players, he kept Tankersley for a reason. Oh, of course. They got 90 players. Well, you think they're going to have 90 players better than Cordrea? No, he's a third-round pick that hasn't played yet. So he needs to play, and then you could find out. He's under contract. There's no reason to let him go. The guys that they let go were not draft picks of theirs. They didn't let go of Taco Charlton. They kept him. They didn't let go of Charles Harris. They kept him. They'll do the same thing with Cordrea. What did I tell you? They'll wait till they get to 55. Remember, it's not 53. It's 55 this year. Which, by the way, with this season, the way it is, they should have an exemption extended to 60 just for the hell of it because of the shortened offseason and all that. You should allow teams to have a larger roster, but whatever. So you go to 55. At 55 is when Charles Harris, Taco Charlton, and Cordrea Tankersley will be cut if they don't prove themselves. That's what will happen. Okay?
Exactly what you said.
Maybe not Taco. Maybe they keep Taco, but Charles for sure and Tankersley.
Think
Guaranteed.
about this. How many guys did we get off other people's practice squad? The fact that other teams are not going to have a long enough look at people. There's going to be a lot of people released that shouldn't be.
Yep.
And I got to think that we're going to be gobbling them up.
Right. Yeah, if they like them, they will. And if they find a piece or two, they'll do it like they did last year. Hank Goldberg's left nut says, my Finns' goal this year is 500. After next year's draft and free agency, we should be a legit playoff team. I agree. Alexa says, no problem. Oh, I love everyone here. Thank you, Alexa. Too kind. Miami Kid says, Tankersley and Charles Harris are wasting roster spots. Dude, it's 90 spots. What are they wasting? Spot 89 or 90? It's worth trying. It really is. It's not. You're not going to be 55 deep, so much less 90. It's not a big deal. Don't get hung up on that. Let's see. Big O, second-round pick. Noah never gets his head turned when the ball comes to receiver. Is that coachable? Yes. Remember, he's a wide receiver that is converted to corner. So he is still kind of developing. And for those of you that, if you were following our draft coverage, a couple of our scouts told us that he is slow to find the football at times. It's still an adjustment. He's only been playing corner for a few years. Okay? So, yes, that's all very coachable. There's no doubt about it that it's coachable. Now, people still aren't completing a lot of passes on him. Okay? So that's the other thing that you have to understand. That's very key. Josh chiming in and on the super chat. Thank you, Josh, on the super chat. Oh, you are the best in the business. I don't regret promoting you to random people. That is very nice of you, sir. Thank you for chiming in on the super chat as Josh gives us a little love there. And thank you all for sharing. Just so you'll know, we hit another number this morning. Again, our YouTube channel now has 1.6 million minutes viewed in the last 28 days. Mind you, like a week and a half ago, we hit the million mark in 28 days pace. We are now at 1.6 million minutes viewed in the last 28 days.
That's crazy. 500,000 jump in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it just continues to climb.
Y'all are amazing. Man, every day you guys floor us. Literally.
That is you guys out making it happen, helping us grow. And this is going to be huge, man, because it's going to allow us to do a lot of things that you guys are definitely going to love as a fan base, because this is your show. That's basically what this is. You know what I mean? Instead of the corporate crap that they have. In fact, right up the street down south. Man, they spew the corporate crap every single day. Thanks. Very good insight from New York. So hard to find good Dolphins chatter here. Keep it up. Started listening daily last week. Wow, very nice, Nick. Thank you very much. Todd Lobrutto. Is that Italian? Lobrutto. Last year we were wondering who a decent starter was. This year there's going to be a lot of tough cuts. Yeah, doesn't it get fun like that way? That's the good thing, man. There's more talent. There's harder decisions to be made. They might be able to move a guy now. They might be able to get a pick or a player from somebody.
That's what I was going to say.
You know,
I see us cutting people that are going to make other people's team, man.
Yeah.
Somehow, if we can trade, get whatever you can before we put them to the stockpile. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right, we got our other guest today. So we'll have Eli Gold at noon. We'll have Larry Holder at 1. Safid Dean at 1 from the Sun Sentinel. So we'll talk a little Dolphins with Safid Dean. And then at 1:30, Larry Holder from The Athletic will join us so we can talk a little Saints. How about that? So good stuff there. So how about that? Eli Gold, the voice of Alabama football, to talk about Tua.
By the way, since 1988.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So there you go. Been there a long time. Larry Holder from The Athletic and Safid Dean from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. That's pretty cool, man. That's a really good show right there. A lot of Dolphins talk throughout the process, which is always good. We can never have enough Dolphins talk. I do want to talk about a little bit of a troll on the Dolphins. I will get to that on the other side. Thomas Cook, thank you, sir. Thomas Cook chiming in on the super chat. We appreciate you, Thomas. Thank you. Much love to you, sir. Appreciate you there. Big O from Papa Hog. Big O, do not let the media start dictating how Miami plays their players, and do not play Tua this year. And you demand, Big O, they will listen to you. Well, listen, my brother, I don't want Tua playing until that line is. I've been saying this already for a while now, since I think pretty much on draft weekend. I think I've been saying it. I don't want Tua playing at all until that line's intact. If I'm watching Fitz run around like a maniac, I do not want Tua back there at all. Remember how the other guy just asked me, hey, if you're going to pick two players that are going to fail? I don't want to do that. I don't want Tua to fail. I don't want Tua to – I know Tua's injury prone, right? Because that's kind of been his history. I need the lineup kick ass, bro, before I put him back there. Because I don't want him taking hits. I don't want him getting injured at all. I need him to stay healthy. I have been at this thing of having no quarterback for a long, long time. I'm kind of tired of it. And I know Tua can play. And so I want Tua to succeed. And in order for him to succeed, we got to have the running game and the offense, especially the offensive line, rocking. So that way when Tua hands it off to Howard or Breida or passes it to Breida or passes it to, what's the name of the little white kid that I like that catches passes?
Oh, the one that got the start.
Yeah,
at the
towards
end.
the end. I love that kid, man. Anyway, guys like that.
That guy, we know who he is.
You all know who I'm talking about. It's just a brain fart at the moment. Somebody will chime in on the chat board and help me out. But anyway, so, that's what I want. So let's set the team up first before we put the kid back there. And you know what? When I come back on the other side, I'm going to explain to you an example that I want the Dolphins to avoid. Before I do that, FinFan70, thank you, sir, chiming in on the super chat. I appreciate you, how you support us. All of you, thank you all for supporting us. Mark saying, hell of a roster of guests, Big O. Thank you for the hard work. Well, hard work is guaranteed on this show. You bet your ass on that. He can back it up. He knows that that's the only way we roll here, so we're going to work our asses off. And so we'll give you some good guests. All right, let's do this. Let's come back on the other side. We're coming to you live, of course, from Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on out here. Take advantage, folks. We got some great deals. You can buy online. You can call in. They can deliver to your home. They will give you 90 days, no payments if you buy or lease a vehicle, because they know these times are kind of tough right now. So the transition, they want to make it as smooth as possible. And we're about to start opening up the state now. I know South Florida, not yet, but we're pretty close. We're getting close. So it's nice to see that we're about to bounce back. Thank you. Patrick Laird is the guy I was talking about. I appreciate you getting me the well, you know
how about our lads, baby?
Yeah.
Dub chart.
Yeah, but you know what? How about our listeners? Because they're the ones chiming in with Laird. John Rouse had Laird. Moneyman had Laird. Rich V had Laird. Charles Reed had Laird. I told you our people are the best. The freaking best. Okay?
That's because of Mark Walton skipping out of jail.
Yeah. Richard McLean goes, how come you want Fitz used as a crash dummy? Dummy? Because it would be dumb not to use him as a crash dummy. Dummy. Back with more.
Well,
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. We are having some fun out here, and we are out at Toyota of Hollywood. And no, I'm not taking a dump or anything, because I know you guys always say that every time I leave or something, but I'm actually talking with the folks and talking with some of the people out here during the breaks, all of that. So come on out and join us. We'll be out here at 1841 North State Road 7. John Ross says, Big O must run out of toilet paper quickly. Or he had that burrito coming out. You guys are just amazing. Big O, great show. Been looking into the Tua jersey number situation. He actually did wear number 13 in high school. 11 was taken by the upperclassmen then. Ah, okay. That's what it was. All right. He's not going to wear 13 here anyway, so it doesn't really matter. George Arthur is chiming in on the super chat. Thank you, George Arthur. Appreciate you, sir, chiming in on the super chat. And his question is, we're going to intercept every Bills pass, stop every Jets rush attempt, and the Pats' Stidham will spend most of his time on his back. George, that sounds like a perfect plan right now to do to all these teams in the AFC East. I'm just going to love watching the Dolphins take over this freaking division. That's really what I'm going to love. Now, there's a story out there. Bengals are now cutting Andy Dalton. And Dalton, of course, will become an unrestricted free agent. And Dalton was on the roster. He was going to take up $17.7 million in salary cap space. So the cheap-ass Bengals, who, by the way, only spent this offseason because all of their failed draft picks the last couple of years, they couldn't re-sign any of them because they weren't any good. So they had to spend the money to get to the floor of the NFL in order to spend. So that's why they spent money in free agency, not because they were trying to improve. Okay, so now he becomes a free agent along with Cam Newton. I know everybody's throwing out the New England Patriot thing. But remember how we just ended the segment and we were talking about the Dolphins, and I was going to tell you about what you want to avoid. And Tua is a guy that, of course, we all want to see him play and succeed if we're Dolphin fans. But more importantly, you need that offensive line to be playing at an elite level so Tua can succeed, right? And start off, with a clean slate, not where he's running around, for his life every time the ball snapped, and, you don't give the kid time to kind of figure things out. In comes the Cincinnati Bengals. And let me explain. I know they're cheap. I know they're a terrible organization. I know Mike Brown is a joke. All right? And you could tell me about some of the successes that they've had, which is true. They've had some success. They've had some winning seasons. They've snuck into the playoffs. They do nothing in the playoffs, but they've snuck in there. And so they've actually had more success than the Miami Dolphins, really, if you look at it in the last 20 years. But they really were never going to make any kind of an impact in the playoff itself, but at least they got there a couple times. So some people use that as a defense to try to – no, it's just that Marvin Lewis was a pretty damn good coach and was able to overcome Mike Brown. But will Joe Burrow be able to overcome Mike Brown because he doesn't have Marvin Lewis? And let me explain something to you. If I'm the Bengals, I would have had this conversation with Andy Dalton a while ago in the offseason. And I would have said, Andy, we may be bringing in a young quarterback. If we do, we plan on starting you, but we don't know how long you will start, and it may transition to a young guy. It may not. The young guy may not be ready to play this year, and you will be able to play out your final year of your contract and try to, earn a job somewhere else. But we can't release you. We need you in order to help us bridge this quarterback. And they've paid Andy Dalton very well over the years. They're stupid enough to give Andy Dalton a starting job, okay? Because Andy Dalton is never going to win anything for you. But he has started there for years and years and years, and he's a Jag. And I know he puts up 4,000 yards. The same argument that some people use with Tannehill, same thing. Both Jags, whatever, the stats don't mean anything. But if I'm them, I would have had that conversation with Andy Dalton a long time ago. I would have told him and his agent, listen, this is our plan, and we're sorry, but this is the way we're going to go about it. You guys can go along for the ride with us and be professionals about it. If you want to fight us, you're not going to win. So it is what it is. Andy wouldn't have been fighting about it. He would have earned his $17 million, and that's it. Now you let him go, and you don't have a veteran quarterback to take over the team. Now you're going to throw Joe Burrow to the wolves right away. I don't know where that makes any sense whatsoever. It really doesn't to me. We'll see how good Joe Burrow is, that he's going to go on a bad team, because did you watch the Bengals last year? I want to remind you guys, the Bengals are worse than the Dolphins. Okay? Let me say that one more time. The Bengals are worse than the Dolphins. And they're starting the guy. I don't know how that makes any sense. Look, I don't care about the Bengals. I don't care about Joe Burrow. I don't care what happens to that team, but I just want to use it as an example. One, it's stupid on their part. It's poor planning on their part. Because if you were going to have this issue, you should have resolved it in the offseason, and then you would have then at least tried to bring in a veteran quarterback and get rid of Andy Dalton in the process. If Andy was going to be combative about it or whatever, and you want to move on, then that's fine. But have another veteran quarterback like that has experience in place. That's what I love about having Fitzpatrick here for the Miami Dolphins. So yes, I want. If I was the Bengals, I would have used Andy Dalton as my crash test dummy. Just like if I'm the Dolphins, and notice how our front office plans this all the way through. They signed their guy for 2 years, Fitz, so he gets them through this year. If they like Rosen or not, Rosen wasn't good enough, they played Fitz. Now they got him for the second go-around with Tua on his final year of his deal. And he'll play as long as everything's in place until everything's in place for Tua. I like my front office. I like my coaches. I like Chris Greer instead. I like foresight there, okay? To me, that makes all the sense in the world. They're trying to set their team up by taking the steps, tear down the team, build it back up again through youth, find the players you like, get rid of the players you don't like. Let's find a quarterback. We tried the first year. We didn't like the guy. He wasn't good enough. Now we got the second guy. Let's get everything in place. Line, run. Notice how they got a big back and they got a speed back in Breida. So they got two different kinds of backs. They got a couple of pass catchers coming out of the backfield in Laird and Breida. By the way, Laird and Breida coming out of the backfield as wide receivers. I like it. I like it. I'm just saying. Just saying. There's so much stuff. This is going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, I like how our guys are doing it. And then I look at the Bengals, and you see why our team tore it all the way down to the bone, and the Bengals had 10 times the talent, and Miami was better. Why? Better front office, better owner, and certainly better coaches. Bengals want to keep being stupid? Go ahead. I just like the way our Dolphins are doing things, and they're doing things right. There's no hurry. We don't need to throw Tua to the Wolves right now. We need to develop Tua. Miami Kid J says, Big O, Miami High rules. All right, so Miami Kid J chiming in on the Super Cat. I love it. Thank you, Miami Kid J, man. That is very nice of you for chiming in there on the Super Chat, sir. Thank you for giving us the support every single day that you do, man, and everybody else out there on the phone line. So the Bengals don't know what the hell they're doing. The Miami Dolphins continue to prove now that this front office freaking gets it, man. Just gets it. What do we got here? Mike Roch. Is it Roch? Did I pronounce it right, Mike? Mike Roch chiming in on the Super Chat. I love it. He goes, do you smell what the crotch is cooking? Okay. All right. All right. Now, if the crotch is cooking, does that mean it smells bad or smells good? Not sure about that. Depends.
Just venture a guess on that one. I don't think it's hard to.
Depends. Depends.
Yeah, literally, the crotch depends. It works.
It depends. If you're in the mix, stirring it up, yeah. Sweet smell of success. That's all I can say. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Speaking of the sweet smell of success, did you guys catch Halle Berry on Sportscenter? I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. It's on our YouTube page, too. I posted the video there. So, you know they have the All-In Challenge, right? And people are putting up all kinds of great types of prizes and experiences up for auction, correct? From Tom Brady to you name it, everybody else is doing it. Rock stars are doing it, all that. So Dana White and Halle Berry have teamed up for an all-in-one challenge at a UFC event. So yesterday, Dana White and the amazing Halle Berry, who, by the way, had no makeup on, didn't even do her hair, and she was stunning, bro. Like stunning is an understatement, how good that woman looked. Okay? And I got to tell you, I hate being broke, all right? Because if I was a billionaire or millionaire, I would definitely be voting for this all-in. I would win this bid for the all-in challenge, all right? So I want you to listen to Dana White explaining the all-in challenge, and then Halle Berry, okay, chiming in. Now, here's a warning. If you have kids with you right now in the car, at home, office, wherever they're at, please turn it down. There's a bad word in here, a real bad word, like.
Yeah, this is full board. This ain't no half.
MF, okay, and we're not on radio, so we can play this with no problem. But I want to warn any parents out there, you may want to hide the kiddies for just a minute and a half here, okay? Here's Dana White and Halle Berry on SportsCenter last night.
Well, it's obviously the coolest package that we've ever put together. Halle and I wanted to get together and do this one, with her and I and see what we could come up with. So one winner and a guest is going to fly VIP. I have this huge VIP experience in Vegas, 2 round-trip business class tickets, 3 nights at a hotel. You get a private tour of UFC headquarters, and you get to train with Forrest Griffin and world champion Valentina Shevchenko. You get to come up on stage with me during the weigh-ins. go backstage. You'll meet all the fighters. That night, you're going to go to dinner with Halle Berry. Then the next night, you come to the fight, and you will actually sit with Halle Berry in my personal seats and watch the fight with her. Plus, we're throwing in all kinds of different stuff. But that's the meat of it right there.
Okay, that's phenomenal.
And what about all the belts, Dana? The belts, the baddest motherfucker belt.
Live TV.
I got it.
Halle, we love you.
What's the name of the cutie on ESPN that she's the host with the frizzy hair? What's her name? She's really
Steele.
Steele.
Yes, I love her. She's
Paige Steele. Is it Paige Steele?
Yes, I think so. She's a cutie.
Oh,
man.
she's awesome. She's fantastic. By the way, first of all, she's great on the air. Okay, she does really good work. So let's not make it look like a whole sexist thing.
Yes.
She's exceptional at her job. She's super likable on the air. Okay,
she's a natural. She comes across as a, she's sitting there just hanging out talking.
All-American girl. You could see her face, like she melted, because obviously ABC, Disney, ESPN, so they don't want MF on the air.
No, Mickey Mouse is not a fan of that.
Halle Berry noticed it after, too. She was like, but it was funny how she was trying to, okay, then keep going and play it off and all that. And then what's it called? They apologized after, but that was funny yesterday, man. But how cool would that be? You go to dinner with Halle, you go watch the fight with Halle. She's like a monster MMA fan. So you've got to know your UFC when you're with her, because she attends a lot of these matches. She knows the fight game, all that. She keeps up. She just filmed a UFC movie, an MMA type movie, where she's one of the fighters in the octagon and all that. But I got to tell you, man, that woman is as stunning as it gets, because I don't know how she didn't fix herself up at all to go on the air, and she looked like total perfection. And this is a woman in her, mid-50s already? She's somewhere in that area, 53, 54, 55,
yeah,
something.
she's born in the mid-60s, a little bit before you and me.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm 53, so she can't be too much older than me. Let me see.
She's right there, 66, 65, I think.
Yeah, man.
As far as born, yeah. So she's like 54, about mid.
And how she looked that good.
She looked awesome. She did.
My Lord, she looked amazing. No, she's born my year, 66. She's actually, she is a month and a half older than I am, because she was born August 14th of 1966 in Cleveland, Ohio. I was born October 1st of 1966 in Belle Glade, Florida. So we're both 53. How about that? There you go. That's amazing. Wow. I don't know how many of you saw that yesterday, but that was absolutely awesome. Awesome. Let's see. What else do we have? Todd Lobruto says, don't sleep on unrestricted free agent, undrafted restricted free agent Kirk Merritt. A lot of people like him, man. Hey, we can't sleep on any street free agents after watching Preston Williams and finding Nick Needham off somebody else's practice squad. These guys know how to find talent, man. So, hell yeah. I talked about that the other day, that, the Dolphins are a lot like the Heat now. I look at the Heat Summer League always now. I don't dismiss it anymore. For years, I've dismissed Summer League. Like, whatever, that's just fodder. Oh, okay, our first-round pick's there. Okay, I'll check it. No. Now I look at the whole damn roster, because there might be a guy or two that the Heat are going to end up using and moving over to the real team. Happens all the time now. So last year with the Preston Williams thing, okay, we got the kind of front office now that can find guys even after the draft. I like that. I'm good with that. So, yeah, I'm with you all the way. Let's see. What else do we have? Richard McLean says, Fitz has a lot to do with the Dolphins' new culture. Sure. Rich V goes, she looks hot just waking up. You're right about that. Amen to that. DJ Galaga says, Big O, the best show in the world. Eres un bárbaro. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Hey, kids cuss when parents aren't around anyway. I know I did. I know, but, I don't want, at least if there's a parent listening now, at least they appreciate that I gave them the heads up. You know what I'm saying? Because if they don't want it around their kid, I gave them the opportunity. When she was training with Keanu for John Wick, Halle Berry has some gunplay skills. Oh, yeah, definitely. And you know what? The look at in the John Wick movie, she didn't look like she looked yesterday. She looked way better than she did in the John Wick movie. Love the two dogs that was with her, too. Leo says, good morning, all, from Leo the pessimist, on delay, though. George says, hey, not only is Fitz costing us cheap by today's standards, he also knows and embraces everything about being the bridge guy. He's okay with being the crash test dummy. Exactly. Mike Roch is chiming in with another super chat. And it says, it smells like ropa vieja. NorCal says, wow, cougar. Yes, she is a super cougar. Leo says Rosen will beat Tua. Like to a pulp? Like in the locker room when they fight or something? Or you mean on the field? I'm joking. Relax. Miami Kid J says, Big O, Halle Berry can do no wrong in this world. Wow, que mujerón. Big O, what year did you graduate from high school? It's Hialeah High. 1985 was my year. That was my senior year, 1985, sir. That's the senior year and the blast that we had in high school, which they cannot do nowadays. They cannot get away with the things we used to get away with back in the day. Sorry, kids. We lived in the better era. All right, we got 1 hour down. We got Eli Gold is coming up now at the top of the hour here. As you all know, Tua and Raekwon Davis both played at Alabama, both draft picks of the Miami Dolphins. Eli Gold, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide since 1988, correct, sir?
That's what I read.
That's right, the great voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. When you hear him now in a couple minutes, you're going to go, wow, those are pipes, dude. Those are pipes. So Eli Gold, the great play-by-play voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, is going to join us on the other side. We'll ask him his favorite Tua stories and what he loves about Tua, what he sees in Raekwon Davis, two of the Miami Dolphins that hopefully contribute to the team for a long, long time to come. The voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Eli Gold, is next.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to AccidentLawFirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to AccidentLawFirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's AccidentLawFirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back. Promised you we would talk to the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I always have an honor of talking to Eli every time we go to the SEC Media Days. And hopefully we can get back to that maybe next year and go to the SEC Media Days. And, of course, you can catch him calling Alabama football. I'm sure he's going to be watching a little Dolphin football now over the next couple of years because one of his players is now going to be the leader of this team in Mr. Tua. First of all, Mr. Gold, good afternoon or good morning in your part of the country, but thank you, sir, for taking some time.
Well, it's always great to be with you, Big O. It's you and I have been around a few years together, and it's great to be able to join you.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you joining us here and talking a little Tua. And Eli, could you explain to us, because we kind of saw it with Tebow from afar with the Gators, what is it about this young man that it just everybody gravitates to him? What is it about him that he makes everybody comfortable around him?
Well, there are multiple factors. He could be the greatest guy in the world, and he can't throw a pass. Well, he won't have the impact that he has. It's a combination. It's the whole package deal. He is one of the nicest young men that you'd ever want to encounter. He's funny. He has a very wry sense of humor. He is a pleasure to be around, very respectful, very religious family. And then on top of that, the guy has physical skills that are just, you sit there and you shake your head. How in the world did he see that? How in the world did he get that pass off? How in the world did he, avoid that tackler? So from an X's and O's standpoint, he is one of the best to have come down the highway. And from a personal standpoint, he, his brother, his whole family, just wonderful people.
How does he win? I know he can pass and he can help you win. So we all know Eli. That's always going to help you transition any locker room to any coach to any fan base. But clearly he wins people over there, and then it stays with them. So give us a couple of examples or an example of something that why this kid stands out above all.
Well, he's a leader. He is a quiet leader, and when necessary, he can be a louder, more demonstrative leader. But, he walks. I think now let's understand. I'm in my 60s. He's a guy who's in his 20s. So it's not like we would hang out together. But I would see him on the practice field, walk up to a guy and they would just talk quietly off to the side. You could tell by their hands the way they were pointing, do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. He is a very confident player. How many guys would have the guts, let alone the ability to back it up, let alone that, but how many would have the guts at the age of 19 or 20 to walk up to Nick Saban, put their arm around his shoulder and say, I got this, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And again, I understand some people in your area like Nick Saban, others don't. That's not the reason for me mentioning his name. It's just that, Tua walks up to the guy. It reminds me of a guy that you've probably never heard of. Maybe you have. It was a guy by the name of Pat Trammell, who was a quarterback at Alabama decades ago playing for Coach Bear Bryant. And he was so good and so well respected that he was the only player who had the guts to correct Coach Bryant. He would say to him, look, we need to be doing this. We don't need to be doing this. And Coach Bryant, in years later, said that guy, Pat Trammell, was his favorite player ever. Well, it wouldn't surprise me, with all the greats that have come through Tuscaloosa and all the players that Nick Saban coached at Michigan State and at LSU and even with the Dolphins, it won't surprise me if down the road, if the man ever writes his memoirs years from now, he might say, Tua was my favorite player ever. Tua has just got a personality along with the knowledge of the game and just everything about him that makes him very special.
And Eli Gold, of course, the voice of Alabama football, joining us here on the Big O Show. And Eli, could you tell that specific story of Saban? Because Eli, even over the years have passed now, and people that were pissed off at Nick Saban, and maybe they still are, there's a level of respect that's there that they could tell you that, I'm pissed that he left the Dolphins and all that crap. But deep down inside, they all say he's a hell of a coach. So they respect his football. Like, how can you not respect his football?
Oh, of course. He's one of those guys. Yeah. He's one of those guys that if he was on the other team, you would hate him, but you wished he was on your team.
Right. Exactly.
And that's it. Forget the emotions, which is almost impossible in sports, but forget the emotion for the moment and forget history. Just look at accomplishments. And you cannot, you can't eliminate what Nick Saban has done and the way he has worked with Tua. That's what we're talking about here over the last few years.
Yeah, and so we've seen him here go ballistic. We've watched him in Alabama go ballistic. And what you were talking about, that scene, walk us through it, because it came after a turnover, if I'm correct, right? Tell that story of him going to the sideline and putting his arm around Saban after a turnover, which that kind of tells you where he's at compared to any pro or college player in the history under Nick Saban.
Exactly. He's like a 45-year-old veteran in the body of a 20-year-old, but he's very cool, very look, the kid takes a sack in the national championship game in overtime. And everybody who's an Alabama fan is yelling, get rid of the ball, don't take the sack, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. He gets himself up off the carpet, dusts himself off, comes to the line of scrimmage, and throws the national championship winning pass after looking the linebackers off as though he were a NFL veteran. I mean, it's just no. And then he didn't celebrate like crazy. If you watch the video, he was happy and he went and looked for his folks in the corner, but he wasn't delirious. He wasn't making a fool of himself. Speaking of Tua here, it was like, yep, I just threw that pass and Devontae caught it and we won the national championship. And, it was like he expected to do it. The confidence is there, but it's not disgustingly bothersome. He's not one of these guys who's a jerk. He's confident, but he does it in a nice way. And you just, I don't know, it's difficult sometimes even to explain it. But all of those elements about being so talented, so cool, calm and collected, but doing it in a nice way, the fans down your way are going to love him. I'm telling you, they're going to love him.
You're describing Joe Montana.
Exactly. Yeah, very much the same way.
Joe Montana was the same way. A cool confidence. There was maybe a little celebration or whatever, but it wasn't like anything going crazy or anything like that. A smile.
Yeah, you guys go back and look at the video after he threw the touchdown to Devontae to win the national title. Sure, he's happy and he's, hits his chest and points to the sky and what have you, but it was not an out-of-control delirium. He was pleased, but it was like, yep, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to throw those passes. Now let me go find my folks, and we'll pray together in the corner of the end zone near their seats, and move on. He's just. But I mean, I've sat there. I've done interviews with Nick Saban, of course, and we'll tape our pregame show, and Tua will be around, and it's just like, sometimes he'll try and crack you up. He'll try and, make you chuckle, maybe whatever it might be. He's a kid. He is a kid, but he is far beyond his age, it seems, in his mental makeup and his mental demeanor. He's a wonderful young man.
We're talking with Eli Gold, the voice of Alabama football. And Eli, when we talk about Tua, and one of the things that I always tripped out about, because I've been watching football my whole life, but covering the sport now for 30 years in the media. But I always laugh at people when they tell me, well, he's playing with a whole bunch of number ones at wide receiver, and he's getting this break and that. And then I say to people, well, accuracy means nothing to that. You're either accurate or you're not. Those number one wide receivers aren't going to be thrown open. They're not going to score as easily if they don't have a quarterback that is accurate. And to me, that's where I try to convince people that don't look at the talent around him. Look at how efficient that young man is, ball placement, all of those things. Eli, is he the most accurate quarterback you've ever called games for at Alabama?
I would think that's a fair statement. I would think that. Now, there have been obviously other quarterbacks who have won the national championship.
Of course.
But Jay Barker, who won the 1992 national championship, has told me many times, and so I'm not speaking, and this has been in public. He says, I've never thrown a good spiral in my life. Yet the man won the national championship, and clearly he has thrown some spirals. But Tua is as good as anybody I've ever seen, certainly on the collegiate level. The guy can. What was he? Who was it? I think it was Dabo Sweeney, if I'm not mistaken. Last year or the year before that was talking about Tua. And he said, many times, he said, a quarterback can stand a distance away and throw the football and hit the front door. He said, and then there are some quarterbacks who can stand a farther distance back, throw the football, and they can hit the doorknob on the front door.
Right.
And then there's Tua, who can take the tip of that football and hit the keyhole on the doorknob on the front door. I mean, the guy is, he can thread the needle. And, he's learned where to, sometimes you do have to throw it away. But, his interception numbers have been, so very, very low. And, and again, we talked about the touchdown against Georgia to Devontae Smith in the title game. Not only was it accurate, but the way he did it. I mean, he was looking to his right the whole time to look the linebackers off, then a quick look to the left and a flick of the wrist and the ball is gone. I mean, the guy just has tools that are unbelievable. And, of course, he can run. And get out of trouble and so on. But, his accuracy is just, I can't tell you how many times I have said, how in the world did he get that pass away? Or how in the world did he complete that pass? Now, with all of that said, throwing to Jerry Jeudy, sometimes, the ball can be there and you still have to have the guy to make the catch. And some of those magnificent, how did he do that kind of plays were spectacular throws coupled with NFL quality receptions. But, what he can do with the ball is just, it's just a sight to see.
When we talk about him as a passer, Eli, you've seen a lot of quarterbacks for Alabama and obviously facing Alabama. The gift he has to be an anticipatory thrower, that's something that's almost learned in the NFL level. It's really not a trait that a lot of college quarterbacks really have, that they know how to lead a guy and they know how to throw to a spot before the guy is there. Do you remember any of those kind of plays from him? Is there one that's memorable to you?
Oh, there have been so many. I mean, passes to Henry Ruggs III, passes to Jerry Jeudy. But again, we're talking about passing the ball to fellas who themselves are first-round NFL draft choices. But that's not to denigrate what Tua has done. But when you practice every single day, repeatedly, you know football. Your listeners know. I mean, you get on the same wavelength, and that's that. You just know where the guy's going to be. And you get used to working. So that's where this film study and, of course, the work on the field comes into play. But you still have to have that talent. And he just does it. And he does it naturally. And, it always looks weird. And I say that respectfully because he's a lefty. A lot of times you'd see stuff and it didn't look like the other guys. It's because most of the other guys are righties, and Tua was doing it as a lefty, and the body would contort a little differently because he was a lefty. But my goodness, what a talent! You guys have gotten a spectacular player and a better person. As great a player as he is, you've even gotten a better person.
Eli, is it fair? Because obviously the one thing we're all concerned about is the injury history. He's got that label now of being injury prone. What is fair and unfair about that statement in your eyes?
I think that's just, I don't necessarily buy that. I don't buy it for anybody. I mean, some guys just take, you know what Tua's problem was, if that's the right word? He tried to do too much. A play was over. He should have just, finished the play. But he would go more and more, always because of his confidence and because of his ability, always trying to make more out of a situation than maybe was reasonable to expect. And that's when you open yourself up to potential injuries. It's not that he's brittle. It's not that he's injury prone. It's just that he refused to say no. He refused to take the knee and end the play and move on to the next down. And that's something you learn as you go. But no, I don't, and what do I know? I'm not a doctor. Heck. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, diddly squat about that. But no, I don't think he's injury prone. He's gotten hit. He's done things, and but that's I don't know if the guys, I saw one article where somebody who probably doesn't even know him said, well, he's brittle. Now, how the heck does some guy know if you're brittle? That's baloney. I don't think that's a problem at all.
All right. So when you look at his game translating to the NFL, outside of him having to kind of take care of himself, to me, I don't think he has problems figuring out defenses. Of course, he has to adjust to game speed. Every college player in the history of the game has to adjust a little bit because the NFL is the NFL. So really, Eli, the way you look at it is he's just got to be smarter in taking care of his body so he doesn't take those kind of hits anymore from here on out.
Yeah, I don't even know.
By the way, Eli, to his credit, he has bounced back from all these injuries rather quickly.
Oh, he has. There's no question. And I don't even know if being smarter. He's a brilliant football player. It's just, realize when you got two guys closing in on you and you're going to be the meat in the sandwich, go down, end the play, and then move on to the next down. But he is I don't see him being injured. He's had a few injuries, but that doesn't mean a person is injury prone. It's just stuff that's happened. And we've also seen him with a remarkable tolerance for pain because he has played through some stuff that would keep many, many people on the shelf. And it's, hey, I got to get out there. I got to play. So, I don't see any downside at all to the Dolphins having taken him. He's coming out of a university program that is as close to an NFL setting as you can be within the guidelines of, only 20 hours of work per week and all that the NCAA mandates. but Nick Saban runs as close to an NFL style of program in and around classroom work, etc. And you're right, there's always a transition speed-wise from college to the pros, but there's less of a transition from the SEC to the NFL. It's not like he's coming out of another conference, and I'm not going to pick on any other, but, the SEC, in my estimation, is the best in the business. I'm sure the Big Ten fans will say differently. The ACC fans will say differently. I will respectfully submit that there's no college football better than the Southeastern Conference, and that is as close as you can get to the NFL without being in the NFL. So the transition, although there is certainly going to be one, may not be as difficult as if you were coming out of another conference somewhere in the country.
14 of the first 32 players in the first round came from the SEC. I don't think anybody can argue with your point there, Eli Gold, of course. I just said this 2 days ago. The guy that we revere here, that he is the god of football for us down here, his name is Dan Marino. And I said, sure, Tua needs to do exactly what Dan used to do. Dan never held on to the ball. He got rid of it super quick.
That's it.
Dan never had to run around because he really couldn't run around. But he always, and it's funny because when I was younger, some fans would bitch, like he threw it away. And I go, yeah, he threw it away because it's better than taking a sack. It's better than forcing a turnover. And so, really...
But, Tua is used to making the play. He made the play in high school. He's made the play in college. He always said, wow, there's got to be somebody open here. There's got to be a hole somewhere to run through. And you're right. If he can do like Marino did, he'll be... Let me ask you a question, if we've got a second here.
Of course.
What we just read about it here in the papers, any chance of Marino letting Tua wear his uniform number?
I look, first of all, I think Dan would let him wear the uniform number, but I think Tua would not want to wear the uniform number. I think Tua is too much of a respectful kid. At least that's
he really is.
I think that's the impression I get. I think he's going to want another number to make his own mark instead of grabbing the historic number 13. One of our listeners had a great idea because Greasy was 12, Marino was 13. Maybe we should give Tua 14. And I know that right now Fitzpatrick has it, but you give him 14, so it's kind of like the order of the Hall of Famers: Greasy, then Marino, and now hopefully Tua. But I think Dan would give it up. I think Dan wouldn't mind. Maybe he might mind deep down inside, but I think he would be a pro about it and let it go. But I think the Dolphins don't want to do that. I think in the end, I really think Tua is not going to want 13 when it's all said. I think we're making a big thing out of nothing. This kid
that could be. I read where Tua said, "Give me whatever," and they go, "Give me 99, give me 86. I don't care." He said, "I'll wear whatever they give me."
Yeah, except he can't get 99 either because that's Jason Taylor. But hey,
exactly, yeah.
All right, Eli. Before I let you go, we got to ask you about one more player, Raekwon. What do you think about Raekwon? His stats kind of fell every year. And we're wondering, was it the scheme? Was it the amount of talent that was there? What were the answers?
I don't know.
Clearly, the Dolphins love him because they took him in the second round, so they feel he's going to be an impact player.
He's got a ton of talent. I mean, for a man that big to run as well and move as well. I said one day on the radio, this is probably 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember now exactly. We were killing time, and Raekwon had just decimated somebody. And I said, I was talking to an astronaut the other day from NASA, and he told me that the only two things you can see with the naked eye from space are the Great Wall of China and Raekwon Davis. Obviously, I just made that up on the air, but he's that big. He is that imposing. And yet he can move so very well. I don't know why the numbers have gone down. But I'll tell you, when he plays to his fullest, when he plays to his best, there is nobody better. It's just a matter of keeping him going at his very best. And I'm sure, the Dolphins will have coaches will do that. And of course, being in the NFL setting is very big to him. So, he's an outstanding talent, but you're right. There were some plays where he didn't play as well as he would have liked. And sometimes, I'd say on the air, and that guy was just Raekwon, because he would just, pancake him or something. So he's good. He's very good and very fast and very able. It's just a matter of keeping him motivated play in after play out.
It reminds me so much of Darryl Gardner out of Baylor when Miami drafted him later in the first round. He was supposed to go earlier, and then they told Jimmy Johnson, hey, this is a guy that, his motor isn't all the time. And obviously he became a force with Miami along with Tim Bowens, and he was a freak of nature, another one of those kind of guys that you can see from space. Darryl Gardner was freakish, but the way you describe Raekwon, you're kind of describing Darryl Gardner, the guy that when he's on, he's as disruptive as it gets, and then there are times when it's not on, and you're wondering, where are you?
But when he is on, you just sit there and shake your head, and you cannot get over what you're watching. And he is massive. But the speed, that's God-given stuff. The speed is when you're whatever his numbers are now, 6'9", 300 and something, whatever the heck he technically is now. And to see a guy with those cat-like moves, it's just, I used to love hanging out with Raekwon because I'm a big boy. I don't know if any of your listeners have ever seen me, but I'm a big boy. I'm 6'2", and a few biscuits shy of 300 pounds. And I'd love hanging out with Raekwon because I'd look small standing next to him, which is wonderful.
That's a beautiful thing. I love that. Eli, before I let you go, are we going to play college football this year? Because maybe without the fans, but I even heard one plan that it would only be conference games. What's your gut tell you?
My gut tells me we are going to play. My gut tells me we will play. Now, how, when, I don't know. And that's obviously I'm not in any of those discussions. Do you play the full schedule? Do you start it later than Labor Day weekend? Do you go, as you say, to a conference-only setup so you limit the travel? Of course, limiting the travel in the Southeastern Conference is not that bad. Conference-only play in, some of the West Coast conferences where you're going from Hawaii or the Mountain West all the way. It's a whole different animal in different parts of the country. But I'll tell you this, and you know this so very well, the lifeblood of so many universities, and Alabama could probably afford to lose, to not get a few dollars, although you don't want to. But some of these universities, like these schools who come to wherever and, get paid $1 million to play a game and they know they're going to lose, but those monies not only run their entire athletic organizations, but they run part of the university. It would be financially devastating, even to the big schools like Alabama. It would be financially so hurtful. And then the spirit, in our state, we don't have the Dolphins, we don't have the Marlins, we don't have the Jaguars, we don't have the Panthers, we don't have the Tampa Bay Lightning, we don't have the Rays. In our state, you don't have major league sports. You've got college football, and for the NASCAR fans, you've got the track at Talladega, where they also have had to cancel events, obviously. But in our state, for the spirit of the state and for the financial wherewithal, I think they will try any way humanly possible to get the season in, whether it starts predictably on Labor Day or if it gets bumped back or whatever they do. I don't know, and that's not my area, but I will say that there would be a 2020 college football season, even if it maybe has to lapse over into 2021.
The great Eli
That's
Gold.
my guess.
Well, let's hope it happens. As long as we get some football, we need to
I'm
get
not
back to some
speaking on
normalcy.
behalf of the Yeah, I'm not speaking on behalf of the university. That's just me as a fan. But I know they're going to try their darndest. When I say they, everybody in college sports going to try their darndest, because football, from both a spirit and a financial standpoint, means so much to so many.
The great Eli Gold, the voice of Alabama football, kind enough to join us here to talk a little Tua, a little Raekwon, and a little college football. Eli, as always, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, my friend. You stay safe out there in Alabama. We will talk again soon.
You too, Big O, and to all of your listeners, folks, stay safe, take care, and enjoy Tua and Raekwon. You have two outstanding players coming down to Hard Rock Stadium.
Thank you, Eli. You are a class act. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. There you go. The great Eli Gold, man. Good stuff there. What a voice, huh? What a voice, man. Good stuff. It's just, I figure we get some nice stories. And Raekwon, the more I hear about him, the more I think Darryl Gardner. And so that'll be a challenge for this team. That'll be a challenge for this coaching staff, because it's you're drafting a guy that you know is super talented, right? And physically he's a freak, but you've got to stay on him. You got to keep him motivated. Maybe he is not as self-motivated, and we'll soon find that out. And it'll be exposed. So it'll be up to Raekwon. If he doesn't want to hear the criticism, he's going to have to play at a high level on every down. And if he does, which is what they're expecting, he's obviously one of those kind of disrupting forces that you put on the defensive line, kind of like Darryl Gardner was with Tim Bowens. And when Darryl Gardner was on, it was over, dude. That's the most disrupted defensive lineman I've seen in a Dolphin uniform. Darryl Gardner was, a monster and a half. All right, let's take a quick break. Let me tell you a little bit about Moody's Dental. 305-821-0231. That's the number, folks. If you're in pain right now, they can take care of you. If it's an emergency, call them. Call Eric Moody's right now, 305-821-0231. Implants, Invisaligns, you name it, whatever you got to do, root canal, call them, 305-821-0231, or follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Moody's Dental.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
back. We hope you enjoyed the interview with Eli Gold. Talk a little Tua. He's just one of those. He's just got that magic touch, man. And we just got to hope he can stay healthy, stay away from the injuries, because he's had a lot of bad luck over there in Alabama. And in high school, too, he had some injuries. So this is one of those things that's, he's got that label, whether it's fair or unfair. And that's why we've got, when people say, well, we got to get him in there. No, we don't. Okay, get him in there when everything's right, when Robert Hunt is comfortable. Okay? When Austin Jackson is comfortable. When you settle in on who are the other guards. Is it Dieter? You know what I mean? Is it Kinley? Is it Jesse Davis? Whatever. Let's wait till they settle those guys in, and those guys are balling, and they're knocking people out, and then you put Tua in there. So that way the young man is now running for his life, and when he takes a snap, he can actually find a receiver. It's not like he has to run for his life and find somebody. And the thing that everybody talked about, everybody's been talking about it, even Eli mentioned it in his interview, about the kid letting the ball go. Like, get rid of it, dude. I hope he has learned that lesson. Because like I told you yesterday, Marino made a living of that dude.
It sounds like that's the only indictment in his game.
Yeah.
Right? Holding on to the ball.
Yeah. It's
trying to do too much.
Right. That's all.
That's a lot less than the other guys.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean, what are you going to do? It's just one of those things. So hopefully he will learn to get rid of the football and avoid those kind of injuries. But again, Miami has to do their part by making sure that line is intact, playing well, and then you'll have the opportunity. Okay? 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Big O, do you feel that all the temptation and opportunity at the city of Miami offers, like South Beach, etc., hinders the development of young players? Nah, man. Dwayne Wade won a championship. In fact, 3 of them. UD's been a pro. Miami's Miami. You can live wherever you want. Are you disciplined to not do what you're not supposed to do? That's all. If you can't stay away from, most of us stay away from the temptations of South Beach. If not, you'll end up divorced, right? You just got to do what you're supposed to do, man. Be a pro.
You know what, man? Just about anywhere in the country there is a place for, debauchery.
Getting in trouble, yes.
Or debauchery, okay?
Yes, dude. I mean,
if you look hard enough, you'll find it anywhere.
Notice the guys that they drafted, most of them are character guys, captains and stuff like that, so they also, cherish things like that. So they took guys that aren't going to be tempted by that kind of stuff. Joe Miller says, we've been the most average team longest with poor management and coaching. At least that much has changed. Oh, there's no doubt. You can tell. Red Angry Cuban says, Devontae Parker is proof of how much of a dumbass Gase was. Gene Luke, the Juice Man, says, Big O, what do you think about the secondary? What should the nickname if they're really good? That's a good one. I don't know. Let's give it some time here. Let's watch them develop, and then maybe something will come from it because a characteristic of theirs will appear. You know what I mean? So let's wait. Like you had the Legion of Boom over there in Seattle, that kind of stuff, because they like to lay the wood on people. Well, then let's wait. Maybe our guys are the physical type, the guys that are, getting a lot of interceptions, that kind of stuff, and then we'll come up with a name. Big O, remember this D lineman, Trace Armstrong, Tim Bowens, Darryl Gardner, Jason Taylor. Yes, so good. Those days were fun. You need to tear down the foundation when building new. 30 years of Finn's mistakes had to be gutted out. Exactly. That was the best thing they did. I tell people that all the time. Richard McLean says, it's great to be optimistic, Dolphins. Thank you, Big O. I mean, what's their there's no reason to be negative right now. You know what I mean? Well, right now, there's nothing to be negative about. It's all good what's going on right now with the Dolphins. So let's just, if there's something negative to be said or whatever, then we'll get to it, and we'll talk about it. Jess in Minneapolis says, I like it. The first option was to run the ball. The third option was to pass the ball. The second option was also to run the ball. I heard that. Big O and Bill, y'all been doing some great shows, man. Draft coverage, all of that. Y'all the best. God bless. Fins up. We got Tua. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you all out there for keeping it locked. You didn't put a name. Love your work. Much respect and love to you, brother, from David Lozada, Dolphins Nation, Mexico. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Checking us out in Mexico. Yes.
The Tua thing has grown on me. Because draft day I wasn't happy.
Yeah, the injuries.
But,
I get it.
It's
normal.
The thing about it is when you put everything out up and scale it up, the less issue to deal with is the injury with Tua. And it is encouraging, especially what Eli was saying. He can kind of contribute to him getting away from this pattern.
Right.
That is really encouraging.
Yeah.
And we need, like you've been saying, we need to put a massive wall of meat in front of that guy.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They drafted a lot of meat, bro.
Well,
they drafted some
we
big
needed
dudes,
to
bro.
develop and just
They drafted some big dudes,
we're
bro.
We're going to beat the crap out of you.
They didn't like it. Oh, this is an undersized guard that's, got short arms, but he's really tough and agile and fat. No.
These are all dinosaur human beings.
They all got big dudes, bro. All of them. Okay? Kinley, Hunt, and Jackson are all big guys. You notice what they want to do.
Beef is not lacking on our team, man.
Yeah. No, definitely. John from Ohio, Big O, I used to love the tandem back in the day of Tim Bowens and Gardner, but I've always been curious of how Gardner got along with the guys in the locker room, the coaches and the media. Okay. I can't speak for everybody. Okay? I got along great with Sheffield. I got along great with Bobby Bonilla. Those are guys that didn't get along with people. Tim Bowens did not associate with a lot of media members. He did with me. What's it called? Daryl Gardner was not a guy that associated with a lot of media members. At first, he was kind of a ham, but then as he got burned along the way, he kind of turned some people off. I got along with him. So I kind of, when I was a beat guy, I did a good job of creating relationships with players. So, because I never BS'd them. Like, I would tell them straight up, like, to their face. You know what I mean? If there was a tough question to ask, I'd ask them, and they knew it. So then when I go back on the air and I'd say it, they knew that I was going to tell them. So it wasn't like I told them one thing and then said something else on the air. They would hear what I would say on the air, so they wouldn't get mad at me for any of that. And so I can only tell you, I know Daryl had some issues with people. Okay? Daryl wasn't the easiest dude to get along. I personally can't complain about Daryl Gardner because I kind of ended up maintaining a relationship with Daryl even when he went to Denver. And we kind of stayed in contact, and then we've been out of touch for a while now. But I personally can't say anything bad about Daryl Gardner because he was always really good to me. You know what I mean? A lot of guys, they can't tell you good things about, I don't know, Jason Taylor maybe. I can't ever say anything bad about Jason. Jay was a guy that kept a lot of people, at arm's distance. When I was there on the beat every day, JT was really cool with me. Zach and JT were super cool with me. They never, and Zach, I'm one of the guys, I have his cell phone. I can call Zach. Not everybody does that. He doesn't come on the air much because he just doesn't like it. The last time I had him on my show was when he was inducted into the Broward Hall of Fame. So he kind of had to do it. And it's nothing personal against me or anybody else. It's just he just doesn't like to do it. But Z will be great with me. So I'm a different cat. I can't say bad things about Daryl Gardner. Maybe some others will, but I never had an issue with the guy. And I know Daryl had his on and off button and all that, and wasn't the easiest thing to deal with. Is it true that Tua is going to wear 9-11 for his jersey number? It could be. You never know. And what we should do is have a mobile connection to it, so that way if he does get injured, he just presses his number, and then it dials it up. So you're onto something there. You're onto something. Don't read on air. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
You stopped just in time, huh?
Well, it says don't read on air, so I just said, okay, I won't read it on air. Okay. I got you, my man. Thank you. No problem. Halle Berry has that beautiful little cute female soft mustache. Did you see her in the movie with Billy Bob Thornton, man? Okay.
Monsters Ball, man.
Yes, Monsters
Incredible
Ball.
movie.
Yes. Incredible movie. Yes. I'm with you. Okay.
What's it, Mos Def played the next door neighbor with the kids?
Yes, Mos Def, yeah.
I mean,
I love him in The Italian Job. That's right.
I like him in
he's such a character in The Italian Job.
Hitchhiker's
I don't
Guide.
mess with dogs.
I
don't mess with dogs.
I like Hitchhiker's Guide.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right,
man.
All right. Mos Def.
You got your towel, right?
Yeah, Mos Def is cool. I like him, man. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Appreciate it. We got the YouTube chat board going, super chat. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. Of course, many ways to reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. We just read several texts there on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Did you guys see where Mike Bianchi was writing about, and I know Mike, I tweeted back to him that I said, oh, dude, this is like a major troll job on your part. So he writes an article that Dan Marino should be classy enough to give up his number 13 to Tua, right? And so Bianchi works for the Orlando Sentinel. So he writes this. He goes, the Miami Dolphins absolutely, positively should not unretire Dan Marino's number 13 and give it to their latest quarterback, Tua. The Dolphins shouldn't have to. Marino, the greatest quarterback in franchise history, should insist that the Dolphins bring his number out of retirement so Tua can wear the cherished number 13 he's been wearing since high school. Of course, Tua would never ask to wear number 13 because he's much too classy and humble for that. After the Dolphins took him with the 5th overall pick in a recently concluded NFL draft, Tua was asked about the number 13. He said, I'm not too worried about what number I have. I understand number 13 is retired, and it should be. Dan Marino, he's the GOAT. He's like the mayor out there. I have much respect for him. And here's where, and look, Bianchi is just trolling here. We're in a permanent off season right now. There's nothing to write about. It's hard enough to do talk shows every single day for hours on end. It's hard enough probably to write an article every day about something. Although I seem to, talk about all kinds of things every single day. I don't think writing an article should be that difficult, but it should be a little bit of a challenge. I mean, if you're a guy like Bianchi or experienced like that, it shouldn't be that much of a challenge for you. You should be able to come up with something to talk about like we do every day here. But this is a total troll job. Look, there's no reason for Dan Marino to unretire it. Dan Marino, maybe deep down inside, would hate it, but he would actually give up the number because he's super classy. But where Bianchi is right is that Tua's not going to ask for the number and Tua's not going to want the number. Tua's going to want to make his own mark with another number because he's that dude. He's that kind of dude. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? He cares about winning. He cares about playing the game. He cares about the substance part of all of this, not the fluff. And the number means nothing. So I think it's a subject that is not going to be approached. I don't think it's a subject that either one is going to really entertain. And I think when it's all said and done, Tua and the Dolphins will settle in on a number. And I forgot which one of you had the idea yesterday of 14. That is the best one of them all. Them, Greasy was 12, Marino was 13. Let's put Tua 14. And I know Fitz has the number, but still, I would like that. That would be cool. That I would like, actually. I wouldn't mind. Maybe he'll get 5 because that's where he was drafted. I was having some fun with 3 because of all the, combinations with 3 that I could come up with to have a little fun with it. In the end, do we really give a rat's ass what number does he wear? Does that really matter at all? You know what matters is that he stays healthy. That's what matters. The rest doesn't matter. The rest is useless. It's all fluff. It's all crap. It's not going to assist the Dolphins in any way, shape, or form. You're going to buy the Tua jersey whether it's 13, 33, 3, 8, 5, 7, 11, whatever it is. That's not retired. Okay? So in the end, Joe Fan doesn't care what number Tua wears. What Joe Fan should care about is that Tua does not get injured and that Tua stays on the field and leads the Dolphins to a Super Bowl. Okay? Because I'm 53. I need to see a Super Bowl win before I check out of this place. Okay? All right? After the Super Bowl win, hey, whatever happens, happens, and so be it. But, I'm asking the big guy, let me stick around at least for a Super Bowl win. I'd like to see my daughter, graduate as a doctor, too. That would be kind of nice.
You know what I want as a Dolphin after we win our next Super Bowl, number 3?
What's that?
Right behind it, number 4.
Yeah, no, that would be better. That would be even better, yes. I would like a little dynasty.
I'm thinking
I don't want to
we
get
gotta
greedy right
make up,
now.
I'm thinking we got to make up for lost ground.
No, I get
here,
it. I get
okay?
it. I get it.
We came into existence, in 66, and we made 3 Super Bowl appearances as of January 73 when we beat Minnesota.
I don't want to go
After that,
I don't want to go Gordon Gekko on you. But for now, I just want one.
let me
just win one.
Right.
Let me just be with the Dolphin Nation in some city somewhere celebrating that night after we won the Super Bowl. Because, whenever that does happen, we're all going to have a bar that we're all going to meet after the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's got to be a place that we're all going to gather to just, go crazy, celebrate, drink, have fun, that kind of stuff. Because that has to happen. We need this, and our show will be there for that.
The thing that,
and I will be broadcasting right after that game, going, "Yeah, we won."
Okay, like that.
Give me another one.
Pulling an Arthur.
Yeah, I don't have the FCC on me. I can be on the air drunk.
I'm thinking
it's my show.
I'm thinking
Screw that.
if we could get that first one under our belt because of how cap friendly
that third
rookies.
That third.
You know what I mean? It's a situation where
I know.
Right behind it should be in the works. Plus, we're going to have something else, man, that we haven't had for a long time. We're going to have guys wanting to come and be part of the Dolphins.
Yes.
And get them at contract-friendly deals.
That already happened.
So they can,
That's already happened.
It's starting. It is starting.
That already happened.
You know what I'm talking about, though. Like the way people want to come and join the Heat.
People want to be a part of this.
Oh, yeah.
People want to be a part of what's going on with the Dolphins now. And as they take that next step this year and they win again, that bandwagon will get – bandwagon's not for us. We're Dolphin fans no matter what. I always trip out with the person that says, oh, so you're on the bandwagon? Dude, I'm a Dolphin fan. Just because I'm saying that, somebody sucks on the team or that the coach can't coach doesn't mean that I don't root for the Dolphins.
We've had many miserable Sundays through the fall.
Right. I know Tony Sperano sucks, and I know Cam Cameron sucks, and I know Adam Gase sucks, but I'm still rooting for them to win. Doesn't mean I'm off some bandwagon. I've always been on the bandwagon. I was on the bandwagon before pretty much anybody in that building. I was a Dolphin before almost anybody in that building, pretty much. You know what I mean? So it's not like, it's there's no bandwagon. We're all on it, But the outside, the periphery, that's where the bandwagon happens. Because then people see it, and then they want to climb on board now. Like when LeBron came to us, we were already Heat fans no matter what. We didn't care if we were rooting for Alan Ogg or we were rooting for
when we were nobodies,
Alonzo
we were
Mourning
going,
or whatever. You know,
when we were nobodies, we were going to the Magic
and
watching the Miami Heat Magic games up in Orlando.
Yep.
I mean, West Palm Beach to go see Harold Miner at the community college over there. Yeah, and being all excited about Harold Miner.
Yeah. So people are going to want to be a part of this as it gets better. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt in my mind. Bandwagon fans will get big time. I'm a lifelong fan since 73. Vernon Porter says that would be so Dolphin-like for Marino to give up the number. Come on, let's be original. Whatever number he wears and he will be successful will go down. Exactly. Tua's not going to wear 13. Marino's not going to have to give it up. You're not going to put Marino in that uncomfortable position. Tua has way too much class to put Marino in that uncomfortable position. Tua will talk to the team. He will pick another number, whatever it is, and it'll become historic. And that's it. That's all. Oh, what's the hardest hit that you've ever seen in a Finns game? I was watching old games that they hit Cleo Lemon, took one against Pittsburgh. The Chris Chambers one against the Denver defensive back. Oh, man. Somebody help me out there. Do you guys remember that one for Chambers? That was absolutely brutal. Go look it up. Chambers concussion versus Denver, maybe. Or Chambers brutal hit against what's it called? Denver, something like
Probably airplay, the helicopter against the Jets.
Yeah, no.
The helicopter hit.
Yeah, the helicopter.
I'm not talking, but as far as hits and probably airplay that we've seen.
Yeah, that's on the air, that's fine. But it wasn't a brutal hit like this one was.
Oh, you know what's one? Larry Zonka not running out of bounds and getting called for unnecessary roughness with the football.
Yeah. Let me see if some of you was it Atwater? No, there it is. Kanoy Kennedy. You got it. Miami Miracle, you got it, dude. It's Kanoy Kennedy. That was the guy that did it. Nice job by you, bro. That was good. That was really, really good that you remembered it. That I would go with maybe one of the worst players for the Dolphins to get a hit was that, because let me tell you, Chambers was completely.
He wasn't there.
Oh man, it was scary. It was scary. Let me see if it's here. Let me see if it's on YouTube. Here it is. KK Chambers hit. Boom. Yeah. Here you go.
Right up under the chin.
Right there. Right?
You want to play it?
No, it don't matter now. Let me see. There we go. Is this one? Oh, no. This is a Tony Bua hit? Holy crap. The hell's going on? Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Damn it. Here we go. Sorry, guys. All right, ready? And boom.
Right up under the chin, man.
Knocked him out, bro. Knocked him out.
That was head hunting back in the day, man.
Yeah, that was wham. And he's just lying there. He's just lying there. That was a brutal hit, dude. Brutal hit. Oh, I cringe every time I remember that hit. That was one where, nice job by you guys there, Kanoy Kennedy. All right, Safid Dean, we're going to talk a little Dolphins football. We'll get his thoughts on the draft. We'll talk about free agency. We'll talk all about that with Safid Dean next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We back.
This is the Big O Show.
And, of course, we're at Toyota of Hollywood. As you can see right there, make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. If you're buying or leasing a vehicle, they will take care of you. I promise you. Steve Ostrov said to me right now, he goes, hey, you tell them that you sent them, and we're going to roll out the red carpet for them. So if they're looking to buy or lease a vehicle, new certified pre-owned. They've got them all for you out here, man. Over 1,500 cars and trucks. They've got over 400,000 square feet, state-of-the-art. That's why I want you to come on down to 1841 North State Road 7 and make sure you mention us, please, here at Toyota of Hollywood. All right, we're going to talk a little Dolphins football. Safid Dean, he covers the Dolphins on a daily basis for the South Florida Sun Sentinel. I wanted to talk to Safid to find out his thoughts on the Dolphins draft and some of their pickups. Let's bring him aboard. And, of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Safid Dean. Safid, how are you doing, my man?
Big O, I'm doing great, man. How's everything going?
Everything is great, my brother. We are out here at Craig Zinn's. At Toyota of Hollywood.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Craig Zinn. Today's at Toyota of Hollywood.
Part of the same family. But
same family, yes, exactly. But we're at Toyota of Hollywood having a good time out here, my brother. So we had Eli Gold on earlier this hour, the voice of Alabama. First of all, the selection of Tua, the gamble on Tua, how do you look at that selection, Safid?
Big O, as you know, as we've talked about so much the last 4 months, you know I've been one of the biggest advocates in the media for Tua down here in Miami. I really wanted to see it happen. I wanted to see the Dolphins actually take a chance on a player, on a special player that could really deliver, that could probably put the Dolphins back on the map nationally, like they were so many years ago with Dan Marino, even before that with the 72 season and the 73 titles, back-to-back years there. I'm excited. I'm happy the Dolphins did it. You know, it's funny. The smokescreen stuff was a sight to see. We'll see if some people really did believe it more than others. I was skeptical of most of the things you were hearing all along, but it was nice to see the Dolphins take a chance. You know, it could backfire. It could really go their way. But it was nice to see some conviction out of this franchise for once, and that was probably the happiest thing. That was the thing I was most happy to see.
I came around about 2 weeks ago on the Tua thing. I wasn't a fan to choose him because I'm afraid of the injury history, but about 2 weeks ago I said, you know what? It makes a lot of sense for them because they've got 4,000 picks. And, you know, basically if your draft started at number 18 and on, you're still blessed because you had 14 more picks, you know, from 18 and on. And if you can't have a great draft from that point on, and Tua can be the icing on the cake one way or another. If you have a great draft and Tua fails, you can still have a great draft because everybody understands the risk you took. If you have a great draft and you hit on Tua, it could be the greatest draft in franchise history. So that's the way I had to look at it. Now, if you only had one first rounder, you know, Safid, that's where the gamble becomes an enormous gamble. But for Miami, with the leverage they had, the draft capital, this really doesn't become that big a gamble.
Well, I would also say to your point as well, if Tua's the only good player from this draft, it's still a success.
That's right.
Nobody's gonna worry about any of the other players here who didn't make it. But you know, Big O, at 5, you take them. I don't factor in the Dolphins' other picks and all those things that you just mentioned. You know, if you want a player, you go get them. If you have a conviction about a player, you go get them. The Chargers were waiting at 6, waiting for Tua to fall in their lap. They didn't have all the draft picks that the Dolphins have. They didn't have all the chances and the risk, you know, to mitigate to take Tua, and they still would have taken him. You understand what I'm saying? I think all those things about the Dolphins, yeah, sure, it's nice. Yeah, sure, they have a lot of assets, and I think the Dolphins really made out great on this draft. Not only did you take a chance on a quarterback, but you built your offensive line. Brian Flores now has a whole new retooled defense here, along with the work that they did in free agency. So you built up your whole entire defense. You're hoping, you got to remember how this season started for the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson coming in here, dropping a 40-piece on the Dolphins' head. Everybody was wondering what this rebuild season was going to be all about, what this Dolphins team was going to be all about. And you got to remember how the season ended, man, with Patrick Mahomes lighting up Hard Rock Stadium where the Dolphins play with that one play to Tyreek Hill and helping the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. Those are the offenses you're going to have to stop if you want to compete in the AFC, and let alone for a Super Bowl. And the Dolphins are in the same, you know, conference. They're going to have to win their division first of all. But if you're going to compete with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, not only did you build yourself a defense that could probably do a better job of slowing those players down, now you got yourself a quarterback who can help score those points. And I think that's the success right there. And now it's up to the Dolphins to really put all that together.
Safid, how would you handle in getting him on the field? I've said this, that one, you got to start Fitz. You got to settle that offensive line. They have to be playing well. If Fitz is running around for his life like last year, you can't put Tua back there. You got to wait till Hun and Jackson, all these guys have settled down and they're actually playing well and giving Fitz time. Then you put him in there. And then the other part may be you're also mathematically ineligible for the playoffs. Then that would mean late in the season that Tua may have a chance to play, in my eyes, is if the offensive line is playing well. What's your scenario for him to play?
I think if Tua's healthy, I think he's going to play. I agree wholeheartedly with the redshirt notion. I agree wholeheartedly with, having him sit, letting that offensive line develop, because the last thing you want him to do is not only work behind a porous offensive line, but work behind a young offensive line. But I think one of the things that Tua's game allows for is for him to play is how quickly he releases the ball. That's one of the things that really made him one of, that really sparked his rise to being one of the top quarterbacks in the draft, was how quickly he got the football. Got rid of the football to players like Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, all those weapons Alabama's offense had. If the Dolphins can do a good job of getting their offense quickly into fruition, letting guys get into their reads, into their routes as soon as possible, and Tua can make, quick reads, quick decisions, not hold on to the ball for anything longer than 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, it's a recipe for success, right?
No,
more than 3. No more than 3, right?
Okay.
If he can get rid of the football quickly, that's probably one of the best parts of his game, though, how quickly he can get rid of the football. And if that's one thing that makes me, a little bit more open to him playing, that gives you a little bit, if you're an offensive lineman, that gives you some cushion as well, too, into how long you have to fend off the defenders coming into you. But I think I agree with the redshirt notion. I agree with it wholeheartedly. But if Tua's healthy to play, and if he's going to beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick in practice and Josh Rosen in practice, you got to play him. You can't really sit him anymore. You can't wait for the offensive line to really develop as long as you can. You got to get those guys moving quickly. But this is even a better part, that the Dolphins have these players now. You have about 10 linemen on your team. You're going to try to find the 5 best. And whichever 5 are the best, you're going to go with them. And you're going to have to let Tua do his thing back there if he's healthy. I don't think you could really sit him if he's healthy.
And I got to say, they have already put their imprint on this team in one calendar year with the amount of people that they've added on the offensive line and the defensive line. They have clearly sent the message that they need to win at the line of scrimmage, right? I mean, that's what you've picked up as a writer when you see the trip through free agency and the draft, right?
100%. And you get to look at the Dolphins historically, right? So,
right.
Even before I got here, even when Adam Gase was the coach, I felt like the Dolphins always longed for another cornerback to play opposite Xavier Howard, right? Now you picked up Byron Jones and Noah Igbenogany. That's the first time I probably said it correctly, Big O, so give me a cheers for that. But you picked up 2 cornerbacks there, right, who are cover cornerbacks. You potentially have, if Xavier Howard's, knee doesn't hold up well in the next 2 seasons, you potentially have, his replacement there too. So you just came out of the offseason with 2 starting cornerbacks, right? Or somebody who's going to play nickel, and you have Howard in the fold. Offensive line, you're probably one of the teams, the lonely teams in the NFL who drafted one of the fewest amounts of offensive linemen in the most recent years. So you needed to build out the area of the field as much as possible there. Pick up 3 offensive linemen. Brian Flores added 6 defensive linemen in free agency in this draft alone, along with those DBs that we just talked about. So he has a whole retool defense he can get to coach up and have for the next couple of years as well. So all around, man, I would have loved to see a running back early, DeAndre Swift or J.K. Dobbins with that 2nd round pick would have been my preference. You saw the Dolphins kind of notice that as well. That's why they went on to get Matt Breida. Hopefully Matt Breida can stay healthy here. He's had some injury issues in San Francisco. This was also one of the deepest receiver drafts too. I would have liked to see one of those guys come off the board, but You built the trenches on both sides of the football. You got a defense that Brian Flores can really work with. And after all, if you don't have the offensive weapons, you got the offensive weapon, and that's Tua reading his reads, getting rid of the ball quickly. And once he gets a hold of this offense and into the field, you'll see how much he has an effect on the other players already on the team.
So outside of Tua, who's one of those one or two players that you really like that the Dolphins picked that you think Dolphin fans are really going to enjoy because you got some good, scoops on him on what kind of player he is?
I'm interested to see how Robert Hunt does, the offensive lineman they took, I believe in the third round, or second round, excuse me. It's hard to keep track of where all these players went and how, because there's so many of them, right, Big-O?
Yep.
But Robert Hunt is one that intrigued me. He's a really, really great kid, a really great personality. His family went through a lot when he was, growing up in Louisiana, I believe. A tornado upended their home, and then a fire upended the family home as well. He's been through some adversity there. He went to Louisiana Lafayette, and he went to a camp, and he didn't have cleats on, or he didn't have the shiniest shoes or gear that other kids had, and still the school took a chance on him. And what did he do? He became a starter at the college level, and now he's a member of the Miami Dolphins, So look at a player with that kind of hunger, and I can imagine what this opportunity means for a player like him. And he's probably one player I'm most excited about to see on the offensive line because he's a mauler. Another mauler is Raekwon Davis, man. I saw Raekwon Davis play in that FSU-Alabama game in 2017, and I remember, the FSU quarterback kind of running for his life there. And when Raekwon Davis pushes through that gap, he's 6'7", 200-something pounds, man. That's a behemoth of a man coming after you on the defensive line. He's probably the one player I'm most excited about because I think he could have the biggest impact on this defense, on Brian Flores' defense when it's all said and done. Those are just two guys there, man. There's so many other guys. I really want to see how Malcolm Perry does on offense. You passed up on 16 wide receivers and 10 of the best running backs in this draft, and you ended up with Malcolm Perry, who was really exciting at the Navy level. Playing at Navy, excuse me. So I'm excited to see how it all unfolds, man. Hopefully we have a season to kind of see all this through, right, Big-O?
Yeah, no, that's the key, brother. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with the season. Listen, as capitalistic as that league is, they're going to find a way to play the games. Now, the question is, will there be fans in the stands? And how difficult will it be for guys like you to actually cover because you may not even be able to go in the locker room? I was thinking about this. I could actually see the players going to the podium and then, you guys have to send one pool reporter down with a bunch of questions, and then you're all watching on TV to get the answers or something like that because I don't see how they're going to allow all the reporters down there in the room. So have you guys gone back and forth to see how the hell they're going to allow you guys to cover this thing? Because you can't cover this from your house, dude. You've got to be somewhere in that stadium. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to hear the interviews through a TV, you must at least have some kind of access.
Listen, Big-O, I'm not going to no damn locker room, that's for sure. That's like a petri dish of success waiting to happen right there, right?
Yeah.
But, I think and I think fans in the stands too. I mean, come on, we're not even talking about this being. We don't even know if this is going to be safe for the players, or we're going to add people into the stands of it. I understand it's a business. I understand you got season tickets to sell. I understand that you're trying to, milk this situation for as much as you can, but we have to still remain cautious about all this here. As far as covering the team, covering the players, I imagine, media getting to watch the game as well. Everybody at home getting to watch the game if they're not in the stands, if they're allowed, I guess. But, I imagine podium thing. I imagine it's, a couple people in a room with a player or two. It's not the locker room access, seeing all the players after the game like we're all used to. But this is new times, man. This is new adjustments. We have a new norm here, and we're all kind of navigating it one day at a time.
Yeah, it's going to be funky, man. So overall, Safed, and we're talking with Safed Dean, of course, Dolphins writer for the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Follow him on Twitter like I and every other Dolphin should at Safed_Dean. He is a great follow, by the way. Got a great sense of humor. Safed, when you look at the free agent trip and now the draft, and I know it's silly to give out draft grades and all of that, but we still got to do it anyway for the hell of it. So what is your grade? How would you grade what Greer and company have done in this offseason to try to take that next step?
B plus.
Okay.
B plus. I'm not going to give it an A yet. I have to, can't give the Dolphins all the credit in the world here, Big O. They got to win some games here. You don't win any games in March and April.
That's fine.
Brian Flores said that already himself,
That's fine.
For me, it would have been an A plus class if you would have got one of those top running backs. Okay. You got Matt Breida on a 1-year deal. Maybe he gets re-signed, maybe he doesn't. The backs in next year's draft are not as great as the backs that came out this year's draft. The wide receivers in next year's draft are probably just as good, if not better, than the wide receivers that came out this year. So I'm okay with passing on a receiver. If you would have got a running back, I'd give you that A+ grade. But also, you got to remember too, Big O, these, a lot of these players, whether it's Austin Jackson or Noah Ibenogany, Robert Hunt, these are guys with upside. They have not reached their potential yet. So it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time for these players to really develop and get into the grind of the NFL and really show their prowess as players here too. So it's all a work in progress for the Dolphins here on out. We don't know how good these players are going to be. We don't know if they're going to take the coaching. We don't know how they're going to take to this NFL lifestyle. We don't know how they're going to deal with the expectations of playing with a player like Tua and playing down here in Miami, playing under a coach like Brian Flores, where we're here in the media here already, raising expectations on a team that won 5 games last year. So I'm interested to see how it all comes out. I'm interested to see how next season unfolds with this team too, but I think the Dolphins really have a start here of something that could be special.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Let me run something by you on the running back end. I'm wondering if this was kind of their plan overall to kind of get by with the running game, because you still got to figure out the offensive line. So in the process, whoever are the backs, they're going to take some hits that they really don't, probably don't want. These are guys that are, Breida's on a 1-year deal. Howard, you got him on a 2-year deal. And so while you're developing the line and the quarterback, I'm wondering if they chose in a way to not maybe pick a running back and say, you know what, we can get by with Breida and Howard for now. We'll use them. And then in another year or two, when our line is settled and our quarterback is settled, we now can draft a running back in that first or second round, and we'll have him for 4 or 5 years. We won't have to pay him. And instead of using him over the next 2 years while you're developing the rest of the team, they're taking a beating and punishment and all of that. Maybe they want to hold off a little bit because it's not part of the plan yet. You think there's any chance to that? Did I lose him? Safid?
I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm sorry.
Right, go ahead.
I had you on mute for a second. Sorry, Big O. I think there is some notion to what you just mentioned there, but you look at pick 56, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pick 55 was J.K. Dobbins. He went to the Ravens.
Yep.
Okay, so pick 56 ended up being Raekwon Davis for the Dolphins, and I really think Raekwon Davis could have been on the board there at 70 for the Dolphins. But you don't know these things. This is all, in hindsight, right?
Of course.
But I think if J.K. Dobbins was available, I think the Dolphins would have picked him up right there if they wanted one of the best backs in the draft. Either way, you were going to have to build this C-line, build this O-line, build this, get a running back, whether it's this year or next year, you were still going to have to do it, right? And I think still the Dolphins aren't done on offensive line. I think next year, one of those picks is going to be offensive line again. Just like how some people say you should take a quarterback every year, you should wholeheartedly take an offensive lineman every year.
I believe
and
that.
Plug them in and see how that goes too. So, we could sit here and say, what the Dolphins did, what the Dolphins should have done. I think it's all, recipe for what they really did. And that's, they have a whole lot of holes. I don't think there was any way the Dolphins were going to fill every single position hole that they had because, quite frankly, there were just too many. But I think they're off to a good start, and we'll see over the next couple months, how this roster comes together, if they can find some guys in training camp, identify some players that stood out a little bit more than you had imagined. And, that's how we see guys like Preston Williams and Nick Needham and Patrick Laird become a part of the team last year, and I imagine there'll be a few of those this year too.
Well, Safid, I know my daughter's a lot closer to being a doctor since she is in medical school, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so I can't be a doctor either. But I'm going to play one here. And if you start the season in September or October, I don't believe Tua's ready to take a hit. he might be ready to practice and throw around and all that crap, but I don't believe that hip that you repaired in November is going to be ready to take punishment at the NFL level. So if the league is dragged back to mid-October to start this thing, how much does that benefit Tua? Because instead of playing, I don't believe you can play him early. But if you start in October, maybe you might be able to get a half a season in, because by middle to late November, now you're talking a year removed, and now maybe you start to get more comfortable on the doctor side of the thing for the Dolphins that he can take a hit. So how much of a delay do you think benefits him, or / how much do you disagree with me that you would take a chance and put Tua out there week 1 because you feel his hip will be ready to take a hit?
I think there's, I don't know how much of a big difference a matter of weeks, we're talking about here does. Because we don't know how Tua's body is, how it responds, how everything has happened. I think if you look at his recovery now, from being cleared in March and then in April, cleared in March to begin working out, and in April putting out that pro day video and seeing the progress that he made there. And some of the things I'm hearing in the off-season training that he's doing, he'll be ready for minicamp. He'll be participating. That's for sure. I know. I think the best thing, if you want to do to really protect that hip, the Dolphins need to come out and say he's not going to play at all this year. Right? It gets us all off their back to say, okay, when is he playing? When is he playing? When is he playing? And then maybe later on the season, you unleash him. But you're what you mentioned just now about the season starting in October, who knows if we have a whole full 16-week season here. It could be a shortened season. If it's shortened, even more reason not to even put him on the field. Like, there's no reason to have it, all together. There's no reason to rush it at all. Right? But if he's healthy, if you see him and you're comfortable with where his recovery is, you've seen him in practice, you've seen him take a hit in practice, or how his hip has responded, and you're confident with it, that's Dolphins' decision. Ultimately, they hold it all in their hands now. So, Big O, it's hard to predict the future, man. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. I don't know what the weather's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be hard to read what Tua's going to do in a couple months from now. But I think I'm much better having this conversation about Tua than having it about another player, because that's how special I think Tua is going to be.
I'm with you. All right, so we'll wrap it up with this. Safed Dean from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, Dolphins writer, joining us. So what do you do with Josh Rosen? Because it looks like maybe early on he'll be the backup. But you and I know, and Flores has proven it to all of us, if you're not helping them win, they're not going to keep you on the field. They don't care what position you play, including quarterback. So what do you do with Rosen to try to create some value so maybe you can try to move him? That's, again, the unpredictable part of it is we don't know what Rosen we're going to get here. Does the light all of a sudden go on and the kid starts playing well, or it's the same guy that, is up and down and not get playing time? But how do you try to create something out of what seems like nothing right now value-wise with Josh Rosen?
And almost forgot he was on the team, Big O. With Josh Rosen, you have a steady back. You have a talented, cheap backup. That's a great recipe for a team that's running, how the Dolphins are operating right now. I think Josh Rosen's on the hook for probably 2 more years, less than $4 million. That's a great deal for a backup quarterback. You don't know what's going to happen for Fitz, how long you're going to have Fitz, and we already know how Tua's injury history has impacted, his draft stock and all those things the last 4 months. So the Dolphins, regardless of what they think of Josh Rosen, they need to worry about their backup quarterback just as much as their starting quarterback. Josh Rosen's still a good player, man. We got to remember he's a top 10 pick. On the field, he's had some struggles, sure, processing and all this. Chan Gailey is going to be, good Lord, I lost count of how many offensive coordinators Josh Rosen has played under since he was in UCLA. But it'll be another adjustment. Maybe this offense pans out better for him. I'm sure everybody said that for all the other offensive coordinators he's had too. But the Dolphins have a cheap backup who has some talent, and not a lot of teams can say that. Would you rather have Josh Rosen, or would you rather have David Sales as your backup? or some other, some other players like that too, right?
Yeah, no,
so
Rosen, yeah.
you have a backup who could be competent for you. He's cheap. He's already on the roster. He can compete for the starting job. Let him try to compete with Rosen, with Fitzpatrick and Tua. You've got competition you wanted to foster, like Brian Flores wants at every other position. And you just hope that, he doesn't make a fuss about it. That's all. You have to hope that he's a team player, doesn't make any noise about his situation. And also you have to give, Rosen some rope here too, because, this kid was a number 10 pick, traded from the first team that took him. Now he's dealing with the same situation all over again, which he knew was going to happen for the past year or two. So I'm interested to see how the Rosen thing unfolds here. Maybe I would say if there was any time to trade him, it would have been during the draft. But the Dolphins are worried about their backup quarterback plan just as much as their starting quarterback plan, and having him in the fold here is a positive at this moment.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's definitely smart to keep him on the roster at this moment. Follow him on Twitter at Safid_Dean and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, covering the Dolphins on a daily basis. Safid, as always, man, thank you for taking some time. Stay safe, my friend. We'll catch up soon.
You too, Big O. Appreciate it.
You got it, baby. Appreciate you. There you go. Safid Dean, man. Good stuff there. Appreciate him taking some time. We appreciate Luis Negron. Thank you, sir, for sending in there on a super chat. We appreciate it. He's got a little fist bump in there. Is that what they call super stickers? Is that what that is? Is when you got a little icon that's moving around in the super chat? Is that what they call super stickers? I'm learning about all this stuff too. I mean, you guys are the ones that implemented super chat. Actually, it shows why you guys are just absolutely amazing. And thank you for all your
major
support.
Component of this show, man.
Yeah, watching and texting and
directing
listening.
us into a certain avenue.
Yeah,
Here we are, super chatting.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. We really appreciate it. And we thank Safid Dean for joining us here on the program. One of the things when you talk about the quarterback position, we're gonna talk to Larry Holder, who does an excellent job of covering the Saints for The Athletic. And Jameis Winston has chosen to go to the New Orleans Saints, right? And it's interesting because I don't know if you guys caught this, but Brett Favre was on the Rich Eisen show. Do you have the Brett Favre cut there? The Favre cut?
Yes, I do. I have Favre.
So, as you all know, in the draft, they drafted Jordan Love, right? The Green Bay Packers. Ty in the Bronx is probably watching. Jordan Love's biggest fan was Ty in the Bronx. And so they certainly had conviction, but the real crime was that they didn't go and get any receivers for the rest of that draft. And this was a draft loaded with receivers, and they needed it, right? And so
36, 37 of them taken.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Aaron obviously was not happy with that, and they obviously are not happy with him. Obviously, LaFleur must have something with him. Now they've got it. He's under contract for the next 2 years. It's an impossible contract pretty much to get out of. I mean, the amount of money that they owe him, it's going to be sick. So he'll be there for 2 more years playing, and then they could be pushing him out for Jordan Love if Jordan Love is playing at a high level. But the question is, have you done enough damage now that Aaron Rodgers will want out eventually? Well, Brett Favre talked about that on the Rich Eisen show. Listen what Brett Favre had to say.
My gut tells me no. Tom Brady and myself and Joe Montana and Peyton Manning, just to name a few, have finished their career elsewhere. And in my case, I played with 4 different teams. So I think you're going to see that trend more and more. And I think Aaron will finish somewhere else. That's my gut. I guarantee you this, and I don't know this for certain, but I guarantee you it's got the wheels turning in Aaron's mind, which if that's the case, then that means that there's a chip on his shoulder towards the organization that otherwise was not there.
Now, the amazing part about Aaron Rodgers' career, listen to this, TD passes to first-round picks. Are you ready for this? Peyton Manning had 293 first-rounders that he threw touchdowns to. Breeze, 104. Brady, 105. Favre, 127. Marino, 84. Rivers, 35. Eli Manning, 135. Big Ben, 69. Fran Tarkenton, 74. Do you know how many first-round picks Aaron Rodgers has thrown touchdown passes to?
I know that.
Go ahead.
1.
That's right. 1. 1 in his whole career, bro. That's crazy. It was Mercedes Lewis, the Jacksonville Jaguar tight end. That's it. Mercedes, I'm sorry. Okay? You don't take care of the guy. You don't help him out. So, yeah, he should be pissed. And Favre is right because, and for those of you trying to figure out, Favre started in Atlanta. That's why he said 4 teams, because he went Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Jets. So, most people remember the last 3, and they're like, the 4th, huh? So just in case. But we've all seen Montana play somewhere else. We saw Joe Namath play somewhere else, right?
Rams.
You're watching Brady play somewhere else. I mean, it's not abnormal. It's very normal that older quarterbacks, even franchise guys, they end up going somewhere else. They're forced out. I mean, Cam Newton is just forced out now from his team. Peyton Manning had to finish his career in Denver. So it is. Warren Moon wasn't kept with the Oilers. Had to move on. Lots of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. In fact, maybe most of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks don't end up on their teams lately. That's kind of scary, but it's actually kind of true. And it's not like they all stay on one team for their entire careers. A lot of them have to leave. So it looks like the writing is on the wall, and Favre is right about it. But I got to tell you, man, it's one of those situations that when you look at it, Matt LaFleur has not accomplished anything in this league. And Gutekunst is also not known as this, world-like GM or anything. Those guys better be right here. They better nail it with Jordan Love. Now, on the flip side, this is the one organization in the entire NFL that does a better job than anybody else in transferring one quarterback to another. So, on the flip side, we also must say Gutekunst and LaFleur might be ahead of their time. Just like they were with Favre, that he was falling off. He was getting old. He was undecisive year in and year out. He was leaving them on a lurch. So they drafted Aaron Rodgers, and then they were ready for the transition. So you do have to be prepared at one point or another. I don't really have a problem. Some people have a major problem with the drafting of Jordan Love. I do not, because Aaron Rodgers is in his mid-30s. I think he's 35 or something like that. So you have to plan ahead of time, and you give this kid 2 years to groom. Aaron's 37, let's say. If he is 35, I think it's time to move on. You got to be ready for it. You can't wait till the bottom completely falls off the quarterback to then go draft the other guy. That doesn't make any sense. And look at where we've been as a Dolphin franchise. Since Marino left, they weren't ready when he left, and they haven't replaced him since. Now we're all praying that Tua's the guy and that they finally got it. But there are two sides to this. And Aaron Rodgers has to handle it like a pro, because he shouldn't take it out on Jordan Love. Unlike Favre, who took it out on him and shouldn't have, well, he needs to take the higher road here. And I understand if he's frustrated, but, I mean, you've had your time, bro. And you're going to be there 2 more years because your contract dictates that.
51 mil, I think I saw, and then 31 mil. So it's major.
They can't
cap
move
hits.
him.
Yeah, they can't. You're stuck.
They can't move him.
Yeah, straight up, I don't think it's an indictment on Love or any issue. It's just the fact that they didn't. I mean, rightfully so.
Just don't take it out on the kid. Man.
Give the guy a freaking wide receiver, would you?
Man,
I don't know how they did not do that.
Yeah.
That was really, that is the indictment. Not anything about Love. No. It's about the fact that they didn't go get somebody to help. Because Aaron Rodgers is still your guy. Help the guy out, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
One first rounder he's thrown to his entire career.
How can you not get your guy somebody to throw to? Come on.
That shows how good that guy is. You know what I mean?
You know what, man?
Larry Holder.
Yes, sir. We're up on it, man.
All right, let's do that. We're going to talk to Larry Holder from The Athletic. We'll talk about Jameis Winston's decision. We do that next.
Well,
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We back. Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Come on out, man. I see Herbie right there. Herbie is ready to take care of you. All the great people are out here, man. Just a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar off the turnpike. All right, we're going to talk to Larry Holder from The Athletic, Saints writer, always kind enough to give us some time when we need it. And when they got a big story with Jameis Winston signing with the Saints yesterday. And yesterday, of course, Jameis addressed the media.
We have a Hall of Fame quarterback and the future Hall of Fame coach. You know, that's very intriguing for a young quarterback like myself. And also, I've been playing against this defense for the past 5 years, and they continue to get better and be dominant. This is a Super Bowl contending team, and I'm just happy to be a part of that.
There you go. Jameis talking about it. Larry knows about it. Let's get into it. Larry, good afternoon, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe out there in New Orleans.
Yeah, we're all doing safe. We're kids are homeschooled. They had to come teacher for the last month or so, and that's going to continue. But at least we're definitely having a sign of some positivity down here in New Orleans. So that's good.
So
good thing to see.
What kind of a hard ass are you as a teacher? No gum. They got to sit straight. How are you cracking the whip at home, Larry, as a teacher?
Well, it's definitely they have to at least sit at the kitchen table, and they have to not mess up my laptop because that's what they use. And then the funny thing is, while they're using my laptop, I can't work. So it's like, all right, let's get this thing moving. I've got work I've got to do. So far, look, I feel like teachers deserve a raise. I'll just put it to you that way.
Hey, I'm married to one, so thank you. Appreciate that. A little more money coming into the house. Yes, we need that. Not a problem. Yes, yeah, she's getting more love nowadays than ever because a lot of people are realizing, boy, being a teacher really sucks because it is hard. Can you imagine teaching 200 kids a day like these teachers do every day? I mean, I would go out of my freaking mind if I had to do that for a job, Larry. Think about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that would be. That sounds like high school, I guess she's teaching, if that's the case. So, but yeah, it's at least I've got a third grader and someone who is still in pre-K 4. So we're just learning multiplication right now. So if we got like to 6th and 7th grade math, my kids might be in big trouble right now.
Oh yeah, I definitely would be toast. There's no doubt about that. All right, so. Yesterday, what a great move for the Saints. But I got to tell you something, Larry. I'm really proud of Jameis Winston because it takes a lot for any of us as human beings to take a step back and see what we're doing wrong and assess that and say, okay, I've got to fix this. Because he easily could have taken the best opportunity and money and just go ride out and do whatever. But for him to go to Peyton and Breeze, that tells me that he cares about what he's doing and he wants to be a better quarterback. I thought it was a magnificent decision for him personally. We know the Saints, obviously, it's a great move for them, but for him, that's a lot of maturity on his part.
Well, it's definitely you're taking a slice of that humble pie, the cliche, by doing this. But I think part of it is that he knows that he needs to improve in facets of playing the quarterback position. And he saw an opportunity, and I think what else is smart is that he said, okay, well, I saw Teddy Bridgewater just do this, and now let's give it a shot for me. And also I do feel like that this isn't just necessarily Jameis Winston being one and done and moving on to another team. Look, I think there is going to be an opportunity for him if he would re-sign with the Saints after a one-year deal, that he would be in open competition with Taysom Hill and see where this thing lets it ride. I mean, so I feel like that Jameis is probably going into this situation knowing that he will be learning from two of the greatest minds, whether it's on the field with Drew Brees and then off the field with Sean Payton, and then see where the chips fall from here. And, I think it kind of wipes off a little bit of the stain of, well, he threw 30 picks this year. I think if you're a year removed from that, I don't think people are leaning as much on that as maybe they would this offseason.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And let me tell you, Larry, I know it's 30 interceptions, and you and I have been around enough football coaches to know that 30 interceptions is going to scare the living crap out of them. You and I know that. They can't stand turnovers as it is. 30 is going to make them have a heart attack. But as talented as he is, because I don't think there's 7 more quarterbacks in this league more talented than Jameis Winston, the fact that nobody signed him in a way that nobody really went after him, I thought that was just one hell of a message. And again, it becomes a break for the Saints, who once again will end up with the best backup quarterback in the NFL. They had it last year with Teddy Bridgewater, and now with Jameis Taysom, they're set up. But I mean, how this whole thing worked out, were you just as floored as the rest of us that nobody took a chance on the guy?
I was a little bit. I felt like you could maybe argue, say, oh, well, the Chargers, or even, say, like Miami. Right, and bring someone down there and maybe either compete or be like the 1-year buffer for either Tua or Justin Herbert. But I don't think that Jameis was looking for that, and I think that would have actually set him back even further than the route he took. So I think maybe teams like the Saints or like Pittsburgh might have been places where I would have thought, okay, this makes sense, but I just wouldn't have thought. Honestly, I didn't really feel like the Saints were going to jump in the Jameis Winston market maybe a couple months ago just because they were so enamored with Taysom Hill. But I think the Saints are really being smart about this. Do they feel like Taysom Hill is actually going to be their heir apparent to Drew Brees? Yes, they feel like he is actually going to be that guy. But Jameis Winston, first-round picks, everyone saw him in that draft as being a talented quarterback. And, so it's not like everyone missed or like it's a fluke. But, I feel like that the Saints and Sean Payton specifically, he feels like, well, guess what? I can fix this guy. And coaches feel that way. And, that Sean Payton is definitely one of them. And so, to me, I think for the Saints and for Winston, in the interim, 1 year, it's definitely a smart plan, same way as Teddy Bridgewater. But if Taysom isn't maybe the guy they thought, and Jameis says, look, I can compete with this guy and try to win the job, Taysom wouldn't be doing that for 1 year if it were with the Saints. He would be battling for a long-term thing as opposed to battling Tua or battling Herbert. I mean, those are different scenarios as opposed to battling Taysom, who next year, if he wins the starting job, he'd be a 31-year-old quarterback who's finally becoming a starter.
Just out of curiosity, where are you with Taysom Hill? Because I like him as a gadget player. Obviously, I love all the things he does on a football field. He helps you in so many areas, but I'm still not buying that he's a full-time quarterback. And I know what you said, that they buy it. Do you buy it personally yet?
I need to see it to believe it. So no, that would be, I don't buy it yet. Like I was thinking maybe if the Saints were really high on a quarterback, maybe they would have taken him. I knew they were not totally enamored with Jordan Love. And I feel like if the Saints were very high on a quarterback that was in this class, they would have taken him. And so the fact that they passed, they figured, all right, Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than any of these quarterbacks coming out. And, obviously far more experience. But, yeah, I'm in the see it to believe it mode. I think I honestly think, you come next offseason and people are wondering, well, is Jameis going to re-sign? I'd be wondering what's in door number 3, to be honest, right. If someone they really like in the draft is there. So, I'm kind of I'm on the fence with either one of them, to be honest with you. I'm more wondering what's in door number 3.
And, of course, we're talking with Larry Holder, beat writer for The Athletic. He covers the Saints on a daily basis. Before I let you go, I gotta ask you about the draft. Cesar Ruiz, I love the pick in the first round. I kind of wanted Cesar for the Dolphins in a way because they needed a center. First of all, do you like the pick? And then the second part of that, Larry, over the years, under Brees and Peyton, I've almost noticed that it's a priority for them to maintain their guards and centers at an elite level. I'd almost say that they don't even put that kind of a priority on their tackles. Like, they want good tackles, but they're not going for those franchise $30 million, $25 million tackles, whatever, $20 million, whatever it is that you pay these crazy guys, that kind of money. But it seems like their guards and centers, they really cherish that, and they make sure that Brees, that his pocket never crumbles. Am I reading into that the right way? And then the other half is, how much do you like the Ruiz pick?
Well, you're definitely reading it right. Look, I can go back to when they're winning Super Bowls. I mean, they had 2 all-pro guards. I mean, they had Carl Nicks and Jari Evans. And so it goes back to there. And so when the Saints see what happened to themselves against Minnesota in the playoff game last year, where they were getting eaten up the middle, and they knew they had to make a change. And so bringing in Ruiz goes along that same line. They're probably going to leave him at center. They're probably going to move second-round pick Eric McCoy, who they got who traded up in the second round last year to go get. To me, it sounds like he's going to be battling veteran Larry Warford, who has been actually, whether it's alternate or not, he's been to the Pro Bowl the last 3 years. So they're not buying into the Pro Bowl hype. They're thinking, all right, we need to get younger and stronger up the middle. And so, yeah, I think the Ruiz pick makes sense just because of the absolute necessity to keep the middle of that pocket clean. And for Drew Brees, more than anybody else, every passer is, if you got pass rush in your face, you're in trouble. But it's worse for Brees because he's definitely a smaller quarterback. But I wouldn't discount the tackles, though, for the Saints.
No, I'm not discounting. I'm not discounting. They are good. There's no doubt. But it seems to me like they have throughout their existence there, when those two guys are there, that they have this priority to stay on top of having just some. Because usually, to me, they're usually the best combination of guard centers in the NFL. Usually, it's top 5 when you're talking about.
No, you're right.
You're
right. Yeah, I mean, they had Jonathan Goodwin for a long time. Max Unger was there as well. Their guard play was kind of shaky in those 7 and 9 years. I mean, I think that might have showed you there, and then obviously improved in these last several years. So yeah, no, like your philosophy is correct. There's no doubt about that. But and then you look at the Ruiz pick. I'd say probably within a couple weeks leading up to the draft, it seemed like between Ruiz and Lloyd Cushenberry, from LSU, those were kind of the two guys in the middle. And the more I researched on Ruiz, to me, Ruiz stood out. And, I think they're drafting Ruiz as a center and not to put him as a guard. And, he's been kind of that high recruit back at IMG, big-time player in Michigan, top 25 pick in the draft. So he's been consistent all the way throughout his football career.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. Larry Holder, of course, from The Athletic, joining us. Larry, he fell to the third round. I think he's a first-round talent. I know he's got that injury that some people were worried about, but I think Zach Bond is going to be an absolute monster. I think this guy's going to be a craze maniac out there flying from sideline to sideline. I think he's going to be able to get after the quarterback and get some sacks. This is one of my favorite players in this draft, and I think they got a steal in the third round.
They were willing to pay more. It seemed like all day in round 2, in day 2, they were trying to move up, admittedly so. And so they were willing to spend more. And the fact that he kept dropping, like they couldn't make a trade happen with teams, and yet he kept dropping. And so it was almost like, wow, all right, they're probably willing to spend their 3 and their 2 to move up at, say, round 2 to go get him. But he kept falling, and, finally they got a bite on a team to make a trade, and he was there. And, yeah, I think it's a perfect situation because the only really reliable linebacker the Saints have right now is DeMario Davis. And Sean Payton sees Bond being able to play kind of inside and then move him around on pass rushing situations. And, I think they're gonna mix and match him. And, I think you're right. I think he could be, when you look back at this draft, one of those guys thinking, how did he get all the way down there? And so, the Saints, it seems like they could be really fortunate with that pick.
Yeah, I love that pick. It's one of my favorite players. I saw him at the Senior Bowl this year, and I said, this guy is special. And I think the Saints hit a freaking home run with Zach Bond. Larry, as always, you are absolutely fantastic. Thank you for taking some time to talk about one of the bigger stories in the NFL, my friend. You stay safe and stay sane while you're teaching there, buddy. Appreciate you.
I'll do my best, Bigo. Good talking to you again.
You got it, baby. You be good. There you go, man. Larry Holder from The Athletic, Saints writer, always doing a great job. I love having Larry on, knows his stuff, knows the team well. And I'm not lying, man. I am an enormous Zach Bond fan. I think he's a first-round talent. I really do. I think he's a first-round talent. I think he's going to be a freaking monster. And the people that are in New Orleans, it's kind of like what we're wow. Whoa. All right, this is good video. Bill, you want to help me? There we go. This is good video. There we go. I got a hurricane coming through. All right. Winds are strong, dude. We are inside, and the automatic doors opened, and blew everything out. That was great. That was great. Hey, you got to have a little fun, bro. You know what I'm saying? You think it'll rain today? Is there any shot it'll rain? Man, that is some strong rain, bro.
This ain't just rain, man. This is tropical storm type stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Those winds are whipping, brother. They are whipping. Yeah, you don't have your stick straight, guy. Get your stick straight. There we go. Man, that was whipping around. Holy moly. Can you imagine we were broadcasting outside? We'd be drenched.
Forget about it, man. You've got to bring your Jacques scuba suit.
Entertaining and almost electrocuted, too. Julius305 chimes in on the Super Chat, says, very entertaining show today, fellas. Thank you, Big O and Bill. Thank you, Julius305. That is so nice of you to give us a little love there on the Super Chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Big time. Very nice. All right, let's do this. It is 2 o'clock. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll start off hour number 4. We got a couple things that I want to talk about before we wrap it up here. We got a little more sports talk to do here on the program. It doesn't look like I'm going anywhere anyway anytime soon. Whoa. All the water's coming in. All right, so let's take a break. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Wow, it is storming out here in Hollywood. If it's storming wherever you're at, first of all, let's just say, please be safe out there, okay? We want you to stay away from COVID. We want you to stay healthy. But also, if it's raining like it's raining here in Hollywood, I mean, this is some strong rain, dude. The winds looked like they were whipping up into the 30s. Seriously. Maybe even faster.
No, it was more than that.
Maybe. I don't know.
This was definitely, tropical storm force 40, 45 plus.
This is a moment where I needed John Morales to tell me exactly what was going on. But I know, John, we can't get you right now. You're stuck at home.
Used to be pretty good at that because at certain speeds of the winds back in the day on the dock, we had to shut down the crane.
Right.
By law, you cannot operate if you get around, I think it's 35, 40 mile per hour winds.
Makes
You
sense.
have to stop.
Yeah, makes sense.
OSHA will come and fine you like, thank you for making a donation to OSHA.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a ton of sense. So, yeah. But it looks now the winds are calmed down a little bit now. So now you're not getting, I don't know, maybe 5-10 mile an hour winds. But it's still raining pretty hard out there.
You
so.
still need your Jacques Cousteau scuba suit.
Yeah. So
and especially shoes. I don't know about your shoes, but my shoes are those material, soft, light, nothing. Yeah, that
mine will get soaked.
Absorb. Yeah, they're like sponges for water.
Mine's going to get soaked here today. That's for damn sure. I can tell you that. So I went to the closet today, and I picked a Guns N' Roses shirt. Because I said, hey, I like this shirt. I feel like wearing a little Guns N' Roses. And then I'm in the drive-thru on the way here, and I check Ultimate Classic Rock. And according to Susan Holmes McKagan, wife of bassist Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, new music continues to be in the works for Guns N' Roses. I will say GNR has been working on some killer new stuff, the model and rock star wife declared while appearing on Appetite for Distortion podcast. And I can't say much, but I've heard bits and bobs, and it's pretty epic. I don't want to spread good news, but not detailed news, I guess. Susan's comments offer the latest indication that the new music is on the way from the vaunted rockers. However, what the new material may look like and when will it arrive is still a topic of speculation. So we are waiting, and we are going to get new Guns N' Roses material. This might be, on the rock side, one of the most, what's it called? I don't know, anticipated albums in rock and roll in a long, long time right now. Because remember, we don't have a lot of great rock and roll bands left. And GNR is probably the last superstar rock band, maybe Foo Fighters right after them. That's about it, okay? But GNR, Pearl Jam might have been our last, superstar bands. Foo Fighters maybe a little bit after that. That's about it. There aren't a lot. I mean, really, a lot of the new bands nowadays are not at superstar status yet. Maybe they get there down the line, maybe Rival Sons and maybe my boys Greta can get there, but
none of them. None of them
are.
No.
They're not there yet. They're not there yet.
Nowhere near Guns N' Roses.
So that's
Metallica.
what I'm saying. When you hear that Guns N' Roses is coming up with new music, that is something to look forward to. Because remember, the last time that you had a Guns N' Roses album was the Chinese Democracy album, and that wasn't anything special. And that wasn't really the band. That was only Axl and a bunch of dudes. So now you're getting the real band pretty much. That's going to be awesome, man.
Without Slash, bottom line.
Yeah, it's not.
That guy.
Yeah.
That's like taking Neil Sean out of Journey, like we talked about in the past.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't take that guy. You're not them anymore.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope. So whenever Guns N' Roses comes out with an album, I would imagine it's next year sometime because we're already it could come out by the end of this year, by the time you produce it and all that. I don't know. With the coronavirus stuff going on, it might delay everything. I would say 2021 is probably more realistic when we'll get new GNR stuff. But how cool is it? I've seen GNR a couple times the last couple of years. I would love to see them again, and then they add new material to it. That would be actually really, really cool. I would love that. All right, 786-322 1105 on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105. Big O, Hector in Massachusetts. Pat White getting destroyed in career over versus Pittsburgh. Stay safe. God bless. Thank you, sir. Yes, that was one of those that definitely, but the Chris Chambers one, I would give the slight nod to over even the Pat White one because we didn't really see the Pat White one. Whereas Chambers, we saw him completely not only hit, but flat out knocked out on the field. Big O, could you give us your opinion regarding Greasy, his quality as a QB and a passer in his era and his place in the Hall of Fame? I've been hearing talk on social media that he's revered just because of 72. I disagree. Your thoughts? Look, man, he was a winner and a player at Purdue. He had to play a certain game with the Dolphins, and he was patient enough, smart enough, and a team player that's what he did. Look, was Greasy ever going to be Dan Fouts and throw the ball 50 times a game? That's probably not his game, but it wasn't required in those days. It was more of a 3 yards and a cloud of dust type of football in those days. And they had Zonka kicking Zonka kicking Morris and Warfield on the outside. So when you have that threesome at running back, Shula wanted to control the ball. You know, Jimmy used to say, Johnson, that when you pass the ball, 3 things happen and 2 of them are bad. And you think about it, it's true. You can either complete the pass, and then you can either have a turnover or an incomplete. So 2 out of the 3 are bad. And Shula knows that before Jimmy Johnson that. So look what he goes, well, I got Zonka kick Morris. I've got an all-pro offensive line. You know what? We'll go about punching people in the mouth up and down the field, and my smart quarterback will hit the receiver when he needs to hit him. And that's it. And that's how they won games. So it didn't require him to pass the ball more. If he would have had to pass the ball more, he would have put up bigger numbers. I find it unfair to take it out on him that the team he was a part of, the offense he was a part of, did not require him to air it out as much. And then people want to take credit away from him when his team won 2 out of 3 titles. It wasn't like Greasy was Peyton Manning in the last Super Bowl with the Broncos. That's useless. That's not Bob Greasy, man. Okay? That's just unfair. It's just because he looked like Peabody towards the end with the glasses. His numbers aren't gaudy. But, again, it's not his fault. It's what he was asked to do. And he was going to be good at whatever you asked him to do because he's a Hall of Fame type quarterback. And it wasn't like he was some schmuck that just showed up and played a couple good games in the NFL. He's a hell of a quarterback at Purdue. So, to me, it's prisoners of the moment not understanding and having a big picture of what went on in the past, what was going on during that time, what was required of you compared to now. And so then if you have a short-sighted person, fan, writer, whatever, and they're thinking about today's football and putting it in that context, that's just ridiculous. You can't do that. That's kind of the, hey, look at, I think Troy Aikman's numbers aren't gaudy either. They're a little better than Greasy, but if I remember correctly.
No, man, a given day for him was 21 of 26, 24 of 29, 28, real efficient, high completion percentage, and maybe 240, 250 on average yards, right?
Yeah, look at Troy Aikman. 1,700, 2,500, 2,700, 3,400, 3,100, 26, 33, 31, 32, 2,300, 2,900, 1,600. Those were his passing TDs, 9, 11, 11, 23, 15, 13, 16, 12, 19, 12, 17, 7. And it's 11 and 10, 23 and 14 interceptions, 15 and 6 interceptions, 13 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 12 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and he was deadly accurate. His completion percentages, 65, 63, 69, 64, 64, 63. Towards the end, he was losing at 56, 59, 59, 59.
Look, you remember the Super Bowl.
But it was a running offense with that monster line and Emmitt Smith. And so he only had to make certain passes in a game. And so am I supposed to hold it against Troy Aikman? I can't do that. I watched the guy. When you needed a big pass, he made it. And he was deadly accurate on it.
Exactly what you're talking about. You remember the Super Bowl against the Steelers with Neil O'Donnell.
Yes.
The key was to hold Emmett. They did. They held Emmett to, I think, 60-something yards. The problem is Neil O'Donnell threw an interception and missed on one of their last possessions, guy wide open, that if he hits him.
Larry made his plays with the Raiders, not with the Cowboys. It was actually.
Yes, exactly.
Actually overpaid. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But, yeah, I mean, Neil missed two. He threw an interception and missed on another pass.
And Neil O'Donnell was a jag.
He checked down, and if he hits the guy that was ran the further route, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
But they did what they were supposed to, hold Emmett. And they did.
You have to look at the era. You have to look at how they played the game and what was required of them and what the coach required of them. So I'm not going to hold Bob Greasy. I'm not going to hold Troy Aikman and hold it against them because they were tied to running teams. And so their stats ended up getting skewed. But it doesn't take away from what kind of great players they were, man. So if anybody's telling you that, it's just not fair. It really isn't. It's not something that people should hold against them. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can reach out to us on the chat board there on YouTube. For those of you watching on YouTube, and of course, we got the super chat going on there. The other thing, you all know that I'm a big concert guy. I love my music, right? And they took a survey. And I'm not surprised that this survey had these kind of results because I've been thinking about it myself. It says a new survey suggests that 40% of the people who regularly buy tickets for live events will avoid returning until a coronavirus vaccine is available, which could take up to 18 months. The study carried out by Reuters concluded that another 4 in 10 would return to concerts, sporting events, and amusement parks as soon as the option was presented to them, while the remaining 20% weren't sure to have ever decided to return. The results show that more than 80% of ticket buyers will purchase them again in the future, though the majority of those sales will depend on a cure of COVID-19 being readily available. Just because people say we can go back until people feel fully safe, they aren't going to go back to sports or to concerts, pointing out that the purpose of attending sports and other live events was for the entertainment. You're not going to be very entertained if you're not worrying about who's the next player to bat, and instead you're worrying about the person who coughed 2 rows down, which is true. If you go to a movie theater, a sporting event, a concert, and somebody next to you coughs, you're going to kind of freak out. You're going to get nervous. That's kind of going to happen whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? Because it's just what's in you right now because of what the environment that we're trapped in at this point in time. I personally cannot go to a concert till I get a vaccine. I just don't want to catch it. I don't want to take the chance. Maybe I already had it and it's gone, and I still don't know if you can get it again or what's the deal or is it harder or what. They don't even know. Okay, they don't even know how long it stays with you. They don't even know if you can actually get it again. They don't know how much. They don't know how it affects you one way or another from one DNA to another. No, they don't have enough information on all of this. They just came out with a new thing yesterday that there's a new drug that apparently kills an enzyme of it or stops the enzyme from.
It was used for Ebola.
Right, Ebola.
And it didn't do well, and they're figuring this might be able to assist.
Well, supposedly it does.
Showed some signs, yes.
Right, supposedly it does something to the enzyme of the virus or something that doesn't allow you to then catch the virus. So
I've heard some talk about, like, as far as the antibodies building up, that
but they still don't know that.
Well, they can't confirm it.
Right.
But they're saying that the blood plasma would be the right direction of trying to get a cure, figuring out whatnot. Because you do build up antibodies, okay? Yeah. Your body does it naturally.
Are you guys going right back to concerts and sporting events right away? Send it in on the chat board here on YouTube.
But they're figuring.
Do you guys plan on going right away to sporting events and concerts and movies, where places are packed with people right away? Do you plan on doing that, or do you need actually a vaccine also, because I'm feeling like, for sports, I'm fine watching on television. I got no problem with that. You know what I mean? I'd like to go to one every once in a blue moon, but I'm fine on TV. I get more work done on TV. But concerts, obviously, you got to go live, and I love going to concerts. I'm not going to one until there's a vaccine. I can't afford to do it.
Yeah, they were saying something about it. Even if you have the antibodies, it's only going to last for a year and a half, 2 years. Like, they're only good for so long, and then you're back to square one.
So we need the vaccine.
At best case scenario, like this is the best case.
Wow. So how are you guys going to handle this? Huh?
The biggest one, that we've talked about in the past, the fact that if you get it, you could have lingering effects in your lungs for life.
Yeah.
That's like, are
Scary.
you serious? You're not going to be able to walk. Oh, one flight of steps is one thing. You get a second flight of steps, you're not going to be able to do it. You got to go look for the elevator.
No,
Can you imagine?
No, it's scary,
your
man.
whole life?
Scary. Let's see what we got here. Explosive and cheap. I don't know what that means. Mad Dog says Metallica, thumbs up. Let's see. Warfield was not even close to being a top-paid wide receiver, let alone the highest-paid Finn. Deb Tam has got me with a little umbrella and some water. Be safe out there, Deb, if you're out on the streets. Myron Sanchez has come through on Super Chat. Thank you, Myron. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love on Super Chat. Rhino says, then you may never go again. SARS started in 08 November and disappeared in July of 09. These types of viruses often just go away. Well, when it does go away or we get a vaccine, I got to, then's when I go. Max Gamer says, brother, you do not want the vaccine. Explain why I don't want the vaccine. Is that not good for me? Viruses are not going to go away. They will evolve and adapt to whatever humans are doing. Okay? Well, I get a yes from Radically. JC says, hell no. Call of Duty says, hell no. Reiner says, there won't be a cure. LOL. Okay. RC in the 305 says, hell the duck, no. Tommy Tremonti says, yes. Mad Dog says, yes, I'll go. I wouldn't feel comfortable at all, so no. That's what Alexa's saying. Julius 305 says, no, sir. Rhino says, not me. Tremonti says, yes, I will go. Vaccines a year and a half away is what Radically is saying. And Mad Dog says, hell no to vaccines. Deb Tam's got music and the rock on sign, so I guess she's going. I guess she's gonna hit the concerts. I'm waiting until the vaccine goes away. You may never get a vaccine, you still have 2 tickets to RATM. What's that? Is that Rockville or something? What's RATM? Oh, not yet. Still have 2 tickets. Oh, you have. Oh, okay. What's RATM? What's that stand for? Let's see what else. A lot of you are not going to go. Ray says, very scary, Big O. The vaccine's a year away. Cross our fingers. May not go back to concerts for a while. Armed Ape says, not going to live my life in fear of a virus. I have 99.7% chance of surviving. Yeah, man, I know, I get you, but wow, man, when you got a family, it's like, you kind of want to live, to like help support your family. I have Stones tickets for July 5th in Tampa, LOL. Yeah, I don't think that one's going to happen, Mikey. I don't think that one's in. But, yeah, that's the scary part is when the hell are we going to be able to go back? Right?
Until we're safe, man, I don't care if Led Zeppelin got back together. It's not worth your life. Yeah. I mean, that's just the facts.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's look, luckily I've been to, over 1,000 concerts, so I don't think there's going to be a concert coming to town that I've never seen the band. Pretty much. It's probably more often than not I've seen the band and probably seen them multiple times.
I said one. I'm going to say one, and we both will go, and we'll be in
David Gilmour?
No, bro. The Cure. If Robert Smith comes,
I got
2
no
hours and 45 minutes, different sets, 2 nights, you and me will be there with a full armor suit.
Yeah,
on.
I'll just buy an oxygen mask. That's what I'll do. I'll
There
buy
you
an
go.
oxygen
You know what?
mask.
That's it. You got oxygen, and you're encased.
That's it.
Like the way here, you know what? The way like the Mickey Mouse characters and all that. It's an enclosed environment, and they breathe. Something like that.
Man, you have no choice.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm just
Not
saying.
going to miss the Cure. He's right about that. Can't miss the Cure.
If Morrissey was to give back.
Oh, God.
Okay.
With
Robert, with Johnny Marr.
Johnny Marr, yes.
Thank you, Johnny Marr.
That would be, yeah.
That we have to
They hate each other so much it'll never happen. But if it would happen, yeah, that would force a lot of people to risk their lives just to see the Smiths again.
I swear
the Smiths would pack stadiums all over the world.
We would be in suits, though. We would be in full rubber suits.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Your own breathing apparatus.
Yeah. No, I would have to agree with that. I'm with you. I'm with you there. One more thing. You guys see college sports now. The NCAA is supporting a proposal to allow college athletes to sign endorsement contracts and payments for other work. This is going to be a crap show. And look, I get it. States were about to pass laws to allow athletes to start gaining some money from their image. Florida, California were states that were going to do it. So the NCAA was going to run into this problem already. So they're kind of nipping it at the bud right now. Now, it hasn't been approved yet. But how many guys are going to take money? Okay, this is legal, but under the table, they're going to be taking some other money. And how are you going to be able to tell?
When that kid pulls up in front of school with the Lamborghini.
Oh, but well, wait a minute. What about if, that's part of the deal? I mean, endorsements are endorsements. What are you going to do? Put a limitation on it?
He hires a construction company like Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield, and gets a couple of dorm rooms and connects them and makes a suite.
I mean, but this is just going to, it'll be, but this is going to be just like the big schools are still going to dominate. This is going to allow Alabama to be stronger. This will allow the big-time schools to really capitalize now because
the disparity from school to school, the
boosters.
Yes.
I mean, come on,
because they have more at their disposal. I mean, right now Alabama has that already. The suites and everything that they're building.
LSU, right? Come on, let's be honest now. Is Georgia Tech going to be able to compete with LSU? No. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look, I don't mind them getting money. That's fine. I get it that you got to give them something. But in this way that you're going to do it, you're opening yourself up for all kinds of things. Now, on the basketball side, the sport is already ruined. It's already mediocre as it is. It's cheesy with its little one-year stars. Now those stars aren't even going to go anymore. Okay, to college basketball. They're now signing
the G League.
They're signing with the G League, so that's done now. So college basketball is going to be even more garbage than it's ever been.
Oh, is this a knee-jerk reaction because of what's happening with college? I mean, college basketball used to be.
No, that's part of it, but other states were going to pass rules already.
Yes, they
Florida
were.
and California were on the brink of it anyway. I think California had already passed it.
Yes, I think they did.
And then Florida was about to pass it. So student athletes were going to have an opportunity anyway at making money off their likeness.
So cut them off at the pass.
So exactly, that's what they're trying to do. But really, how are you going to regulate all of this? It's going to be near impossible.
Do you put a cap? Do you put a cap on the amount that a single kid can get? And then any extra money over and above that amount has to go into a fund for the rest of the kids at the school, so to speak?
I doubt they'll let them do that because now the other kids are making off the likeness of one. And so that's not what this is all about. This is about
you being
This is
able
about
to,
rewarding the people that are making the universities and college sports millions and billions of dollars with their talent and entertainment. And the men that play football, the men that play basketball, and just a couple of women's basketball programs, they sustain the rest of the athletic programs. Because the crew does not make any money. Not Motley Crew. I'm talking about rowing, crew. Volleyball, they're not making any money. Baseball, they're not making any money. They're not.
I've always thought that
basketball's a loser in a lot of schools. Football's a loser for a lot of small schools. And now you got this going on. I just think this is going to create a mess that you will not be able to regulate. You'll not be able to actually track what's going on and how much money they're taking above and under the table, because that's what's going to end up happening. And the fact that you're allowing others to take money, it's going to freely open it up for other people to take money illegally. This is going to cause all kinds of problems, investigations, infractions. It's just a joke.
I've always thought that if they were to implement across the board cap and basically boosters and everybody for whatever school could donate into, and then it's distributed between all of the athletes equally and controlled and monitored by the college and by the NCAA, that you would have a little control on it. The boosters would be able to do what they want, and it would get from the best kid to the know-nothing kid.
Right.
Everybody would get a share.
Yeah.
And because I've heard stories about the kid can't go get a job, and he has a child. Imagine. And he can't go get a job because then that would mess up his eligibility for getting his scholarship. And it's like, how can you deny somebody the right to go earn some money?
Yeah.
And
regular students get to work.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
It's a joke.
They need you know what?
But the problem
is the NCAA's fault. They have not addressed this and let this drag.
Eventually the NCAA will not exist anymore. That's
You're probably right.
That's where we're working to. This is them trying to get a hold of their business, and they can't, and they won't be able to regulate this. They won't be able to track all of this. This will create more problems. Eventually, we'll get down to having the top 5 conferences, and the NCAA will not be in the mix when it's all said and done. I can guarantee you that.
Well, the onus is on them, man. They've done it to nobody but themselves.
Yep. No, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. You are correct. Radically says respirator mask, helmets, and disinfectant sprays when they come off the field. Well, that may happen. You never know, man. I eat anything that tastes good. Okay, I don't know what that came from. Okay, Myron says Pandora's box. What is Pandora's box? What happened there, Myron? I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys start this other conversation, then I try to read up, and I can't.
If I had to guess,
no idea.
He's probably talking about this situation with college kids and money and making money. You're opening up Pandora's box.
Well, Myron says no vaccine, no concerts for him. So I can see a lot of people saying, you know what, as long as that thing's floating around, I am not going to a concert.
What you have, considering my white cells, there's no way. It's a non-option.
All right, it is time to wrap it up here on the program. We thank, of course, Steve Ostrov and all the great people out here. Come on out to Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7, folks. Just a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar. Come on out and make sure if you do buy or lease a vehicle, whether it's new or certified pre-owned, make sure you mention us, okay? Give us a little love while you're here. If you're purchasing or leasing a vehicle and you want to get rid of that current money pit that you have that you call a car. Again, we got to thank on the Super Chat side, Alexa V chiming in, Myron Sanchez, Josh, Thomas Cook, FinFan70, George Arthur, Miami Kid J, Mike Roch, Luis Negron, Julius 305, all of you for chiming in on the Super Chat. Thank you so much for supporting us every way that you do every single day by downloading, giving us the thumbs up, sharing the links, downloading on the audio side, all of that. Thank you all. We will see you tomorrow, starting off at 11 a.m. at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. You guys be good out there.
Everybody stay safe. Have a good night.